Ooh, that music sounds a whole lot better after a win.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
After a Niner win today, 27-14, beating the Tampa Bay Bucks, and Niners improved to 7-3. Welcome, NorCal Sports Network.
What's up, Spencer?
We got Eric on top over to the right of me, and Bora down at the bottom, who's the hottest guy in the NorCal Sports Network Fantasy Football League after starting this year 0-7. The man is 4-7.
How about that?
And can he pull it off? Can he do a?
Never know. Anything can happen.
Wasn't that the St. Louis Blues a few years ago that were like
in fantasy? Anything? Hell, I thought I was going to get blown out, and I'm right in the thick of it with good old Will Martinez.
St. Louis Blues, I think, a few years ago were like. They were like not even close to making the playoffs. They were like just awful. Somebody check that out. I checked my history.
How about the St. Louis Cardinals last year?
I'm talking about the Blues right now. I want
to. Fair enough.
Anybody? I can't remember if it was St. Louis. I thought it was the St. Louis Blues hockey team. Maybe within the last 5 to 8 years.
What's up, Eric?
They were like awful. They were way out of it. I think they fired their coach, something, I don't know. And they come back and then they make the playoffs improbable. Like, I think they got squeaked in as the last playoff team, and then they won the NHL Cup. If memory serves me correctly. Anyway, hey, send out the link for Will B. Let him come on in.
Will do. Hopefully,
you got his email?
Hopefully. Yeah, I got his email. I'll send it. How about I send it by email?
Send it to his email. I'm going to be eating here a little bit, so let's carry on today. Bora, take us over the top here. I didn't get my dinner yet, and so I don't want to keep talking and everything. Go for it. Break down the game.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it was a great game, right? From the minute the kickoff happened, it felt like they were in control of the game. It did get a little rough. Not rough. It was a little lazy towards the end of the game, but I think we all felt like the game was in hand. I think we all felt that they were going to win throughout the game. They ended up winning 27-14. So that covered, right? What was the spread? The spread moved to 13.5 or 13.
Something like that.
So they ended up covering. But it was a great game. Purdy was, I don't know if this might have been Purdy's best game as a Niner and as a pro. I think he didn't really miss any throws. I can't even remember the incompletions that he had. He went 21 of 25 for 333 and 3 touchdowns with no interceptions. I mean, that's insane.
Here's a question: does that put to bed that he's a system quarterback? Does that finally put it to bed?
I think for a lot of people it does, but I think I'm not going to say haters, but
I got you. I know
the more critique type of people will still want to see more, and I think that's fair. I think it's fair to want to see more because it has only been for about a season, right? And he does have a great team around him, but I think a lot of people are knocking him for the great team that he has, that he's a system quarterback, and then that's just the reality. He didn't choose to be on the Niners. He didn't choose to have Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, and McCaffrey as his weapons. That was the position he was put into. And Jimmy Garoppolo failed.
Mm-hmm.
Trey Lance, whatever you want to say, it didn't happen with Trey Lance. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo's never looked as good as Brock Purdy has. Brock Purdy's playing like an MVP, and he's looking like an MVP. Jimmy was never... He was never in. He
had his
MVP.
Moments, and
he had his moments, but they were about single game moments. He was never in the MVP conversation. I think Brock is easily in the MVP conversation. I think he's in the conversation to be a top 5 quarterback. Because I mean, I just think a lot of people were like, "Oh, we need to see him come from behind," and that's a fair critique. I think that's the one thing that we still kind of need to see. But a lot of people were like, is he going to do this consistently? Is he going to fall off? How's his arm strength going to be? And he had that rough stretch, right? He had the rough stretch against the Browns, the Vikings, and the Bengals. but he rebounded. And in the way he rebounded the last 2 weeks against the Jaguars and Bucks today, I think that's as good of a 2-game stretch as he's ever played. I think him rebounding.
Let's see him try and do it with a team that's not from Florida. Come on.
He's in his Florida zone. But I think him being able to rebound so strongly from that little 3-game skid, coming off the bye and really, I mean, probably playing at the best level of any quarterback in the league for the last 2 weeks. I just think that says a lot about him and the team around him. They know that this is the year, and they know that they need to step it up. And I think all of them are really focused game to game now. I think Warner said the other day, he's like, yeah, we're not focused on big picture anymore. We're really taking it one game at a time. And that's what it seems like they're doing. I mean, this wasn't the stereotypical dominant game, right? If you look at the scoreboard, you're going to see it's 27-14. That's not a dominant game, but I think we all felt that it was pretty much dominant. I mean, the defense was pretty good for the first half, and in the second half they sort of just let up. The offense was good for about 3 quarters, which is great to see. I think the biggest takeaway is that this team is a serious contender at its peak. I think they're playing at their peak right now, and if they can continue this throughout the rest of the season into the playoffs, I think there's a good chance they're going to be playing in the Super Bowl. But that's my only not critique, but that's what I want to see. I want to see it continue, and I want to see it blossom in the playoffs, because I mean, they're playing great football right now. The defense is playing great, the special teams is playing great, the offense is playing great. And to see them be able to put it together 2 weeks in a row is really it makes you happy, because that's what you want to see. You want to see consistency. And coming out of the bye week, just having these 2 games where you just absolutely crush your opponent and you just demoralize them, it's great to see. And you just hope you can keep it forward.
Well said.
Very good. Very good. Yep. That's a good.
What's up,
good
Los?
wrap.
Hey, I like that camera angle. That looks much better. I like it.
Well, I figured everybody was tired of seeing Prince in the background, so I sat at a different angle. And yeah, this is my sports room. I do have Niners and Giants stuff back there. So
there you
all
go.
right.
Yeah, for all you musicians and artists, sorry, Prince will be on the back burner.
Let's hear your breakdown of the game today, Los.
Well, you know, I'm a pretty big critic of Shanahan. He coached a really good game today, so I give props where props are due, and I give tough love when tough love is due. So he coached a really good game as far as his schemes go. The first touchdown to McCaffrey was beautiful. Love that play call. Love that design. The questions about Purdy being able to throw deep along the sidelines, I brought that up. He can only throw over the middle. Can he throw a deep ball accurately down the sideline? Check. Beautiful ball. Absolute dime. Beautiful. So some questions were answered. They beat a decent team. They're not what Dallas has been playing the last 2 weeks, Carolina and New York Giants. Tampa's a pretty good team. So they handled their business. They let their foot off the gas a little bit. But, you know, for some of these people I'm hearing saying, oh, well, they didn't blow them out. You know, take the win. Just move on. Stay healthy. Unfortunately, Hufanga's hurt. But I think Jair Brown is going to play well.
He's a playmaker.
I think he is a playmaker with a little bit more speed. And like I always say, sometimes guys are staying on the bench and they only get their chance when guys get hurt. And then we say, oh, my God, this guy's really good. Why didn't he get a chance before? So we'll see what Jair Brown can do.
So is he going to get Wally pipped? Hufanga?
Hufanga's strength is Hufanga. Well, if he has a torn ACL, he's not coming back until the middle or later part of next year.
Yep.
And I think he has a contract coming out, which kind of sucks for him. So who knows?
Yeah.
But Brown can play.
That pass you mentioned, Purdy to Ayuk, the 76-yard TD. I looked at it. He threw it. He let it loose from the 16-yard line. Ayuk caught it on the Tampa Bay side, the 43-yard line. It's 41 yards, something like that. in the air. Let's see, from the 16 to the 50, that's 34 plus another 7. Yeah, 41 yards. So I don't know. He probably could have thrown another 10 to 12 yards, maybe, if he had to. But if you look at the play again, in fact, I'm going to pull it up and we'll watch it. What was interesting about it is he didn't really step into it again. Like we talked about.
He was off his back foot, yep.
On the throw to Kittle in Jacksonville. He didn't have room in the pocket to step forward. So he had more strength, which tells me, I asked Larry this today on Larry's post game. Are we close possibly? Because I asked him, I says, I've noticed some of the balls look crisper the last couple of weeks, like there's more arm strength. And Larry agreed with that. He said that Brock didn't throw it all during the bye. And I think that arm was starting to feel a little fatigued, wasn't 100%. You get that arm strength with the way he threw that ball in there today. I want to see Danny Gray still. I still think that's a missing piece on this club. I really do.
When's the last time we heard from Danny Gray or of Danny Gray?
They said Larry asked him or somebody or Lynch or something. I guess he's ready. He's ready. He can come off IR, and if they activate him, you go look at Danny Gray's. He's got 4.24 speed, but go look at his highlights at SMU. He's not a go route only runner like a Mims. This guy goes over the middle.
Yes, he does.
This guy's a receiver. He's not just a flash in the pan, just run him deep. Ronaldo Nehemiah, like Bill Walsh signed years ago. Hey, I got an idea. Let's get this track star. He's never played football. I'll just run him in there. And, obviously Danny Gray's a football player. So I want to see Danny Gray because that's the one element of this offense. If you all of a sudden you have a deep threat, and with Purdy's accuracy, and if Gray can just, get one or two steps on a guy and Purdy leads him perfectly, that's TD. Now, all of a sudden, how are you going to stop the Niners in the shorter game? So that's what I'm still holding out for hope. But go ahead, finish your thoughts, what you got on the game today, and we'll get to Will B, and then we'll play Purdy's pass.
No, I just think that the Niners, if they can establish a deep game, I mean, just hitting these 2 last weeks, now you open up everything. Now you have a complete offense. Now you're just not like the scouting report when teams play them is like, okay, we have to stop McCaffrey running. We have to stop their wide receiver screens, and we have to stop over the middle. We don't need to worry about the deep ball. That limits you as an offense. That's what always makes Kansas City. We have a bad matchup with Kansas City, and we cannot beat them. They own us right now because they always have a better offense than us because their quarterback can do everything, make every throw. And now for the first time, I think we're right there with them, if not a little bit better, because I know we got a better running game than them, and I know we have better receivers than them. It was always our quarterback was so much significantly worse than Mahomes is. And now I'm not saying he's better than Mahomes, but I'm saying that gap has narrowed. So this really bodes well for the Niners' chances of moving farther and get.
Oh,
snap.
You snapped.
Snap.
Go ahead, Will. Well, he'll probably have
to
come back in.
This game was probably one of the better games we've seen out of the Niners lately. I mean, they went up against a great defense, and go ahead, Los. I'll leave it to you.
Go ahead, finish your thought there, Los. You cut out there for a little bit.
Did you lose me?
Yeah, we lost you for a minute.
Oh, I was just saying, the
Damn.
You're getting.
Go ahead, Wilby.
Yeah, your internet's getting a little potato.
Gotcha, man. No worries. I mean, out of this game, I really don't have any concerns other than the fact that with Brock, he took 4 sacks today. I mean, he ate a lot of sacks there. I don't know what's happening there. He seems to be getting hit a lot, and the pocket collapses, man. But he maintains his poise. He hangs around and makes the play. And I think it's cool to see him throw those deep passes now. It's almost like it's building his confidence up a little bit. It's almost like he needed that to get a few in there and, make him feel a bit better. But I agree. If we had something like Danny Gray who can really just burn and create some separation and just get off, now you're opening the game way up. We're not just going to be, a short route, down the middle, flat route kind of team that's very predictable, which we are at the moment. We are pretty predictable. I mean, obviously we come out the wins. We have the better players. But even at that point, we definitely need someone like a Danny Gray. I agree with that. And Ronnie Bell, too. Ronnie Bell's pretty good as well. It'd be interesting to see if he could come in the mix at some point. But, how much better can you do than perfect? The guy had a perfect passer rating. That about sums it a whole up.
Yeah, second game in a row, right?
Yeah, let's take a look at this pass here, and take a look where he threw it from and where he released it. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, you might want to zoom it in.
Oh, I don't want to do that. Okay. Let me scroll back. All right, here we go. Watch where he throws it. He lets loose about the 16-yard line, and Ayuk will catch it about the 43. Oops, hold on. I don't know why the volume's on. I don't know. I don't want to get. There we go. We'll zoom that back here. Well, it'll reloop. So we'll look at also the fact that he did not have he couldn't step into it, like barely.
Right.
A little bit, but not like where he was like,
He was on the money though.
Not like he was trying to step into it and throw it 65 yards in the air, which he could do.
Did Ayuk have to break stride, or is he still? Did he wait for
watch it again? I don't think he did. I think he caught it right in stride.
Yep, caught it right in stride. Perfect, man.
Yeah,
there you go.
He did not step into that.
No, he didn't.
It wasn't off of his back foot like last week, but he did not step into that. That's a hell
So I think what we're seeing is that him being able to make that throw down the outside the numbers, that's not just 41 yards in the air. It's a little longer if you take the, angle.
Yeah.
But I think Danny Gray is this is what they drafted him for. I know they drafted him with Trey when they had Trey, but Purdy's going to have to be able to make that throw. I actually think with enough time, and if we get Banks back and then move Feliciano over to right guard instead of Burford, or do something. They got to shore up that line, get the protection a little bit better. A play that we used to see a lot of was the bootleg, where he would. I remember seeing it. Jimmy do it a couple times. I've seen Brock do it, where they'll roll to the, it's kind of a play action bootleg, and he'll roll to the opposite side, and then he'll hit the receiver cutting across, doing like not so much a seam route, but more of a like a flag, or going toward the goal line to the corner. And I think if we get some of that going and buys more time, that also allows for the receiver to get deeper, because it is a long developing play. I really think if Gray takes a defender, maybe takes the safety with him too, that's just going to open up some other things underneath.
Right.
Even if you throw it and it's incomplete, it makes them think they got to guard it. So I think it was a big win today.
The thing that's really great to see with Purdy is that he can hit that throw. I think we all knew we all knew he could hit that throw.
Mm.
Right? He can hit that in practice. He's been hitting that in practice. But to be able to hit it in a game, especially 2 weeks in a row, really makes the defense respect you. It really makes the defense play a little more back, not necessarily stack the box and play for the intermediate pass. It really makes the defense think, at any given moment, they could go deep on us.
It keeps them honest.
It keeps them honest. And that's something we didn't see week 2 against the Rams, right? He had a bunch of opportunities to hit those throws, and he didn't. He missed almost all of them. And it's just great to see that he learns from his mistakes, and he can learn and he can hit the throw, because he's hit the throw 2 weeks in a row. And it really, I don't think his arm strength isn't ever going to be this like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen type arm strength, right? It's never going to be that, but it just needs to be good enough. And that's what it is right now. It's average to maybe a little above average.
I told you so right now today.
Exactly. There's just, you got to be able to hit the throws. You got to be able to hit the curl. You got to be able to hit the out. You got to be able to hit the in. You got to be able to hit and you got to be able to hit the deep. And him being able to make every throw, it opens this offense so much more. Because Jimmy could make one throw. He could make the throw over the middle, and he can make the check down pass. He couldn't throw outside the numbers, and he couldn't throw deep. Those are 2 things that Brock can do. And it's just great to see a quarterback being able to hit every throw you need him to make. And it's going to be nice to see Kyle start to trust Brock a little more to be able to throw deep. Because, I mean, the last 5 years, the whole offense has been 20 yards and in. That's been the whole offense. There's been no threat of a long ball. And I think with Brock being able to consistently hit that shot down the sideline will really open up this offense. And you could see this offense go to another level because Kyle Shanahan has that now. He has the quarterback that can do that.
Yeah, and I think you're seeing the importance of Trent Williams and Debo. Even though Debo didn't have a huge game, just having him out there, it's like watching the Warriors, without Curry and Green. It's like, well, there's a lot less scorers out there. I mean, not that Green's not a scorer, but you know what I'm saying? When you have 2 of your top guys that are not in the lineup, it affects the passing game. It affects the running game with Williams. It affects everything. And those just so happen to coincide with Purdy's, not so great games he had. And then the league says, see, you can't do it without his weapons. Well, show me a guy who does it without his weapons.
Right, exactly.
Right.
I mean, look at yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous when teams lose their best players, they're not as good. Mm-hmm. It's like,
what a concept there, Dan.
I mean, it's just crazy. It's just these stupid haters that are out there, and they get
what elite
national
quarterback
media
doesn't
jobs.
have any weapons? What
right,
elite
exactly.
quarterback doesn't have any weapons?
Yeah, and we
they
talk
all
about
have weapons.
Right. I want to get your guys' take on this. I want you name me 5. I don't want to know quarterbacks that you would take based on, the next 5-10 years. I want to know which 5 quarterbacks would you take over Brock Purdy for this season to run the Niner offense?
Ooh.
Are you taking injury out of it? Like if everyone's healthy?
Yeah, just give me 5 QBs that you would take.
Mahomes, Burrow, Hurts, maybe? Who else? Anyone else?
I don't know. You're talking. What do you got?
I can't think of another. I'm trying to think of another 2.
Mahomes, Hurts, and Burrow.
And Burrow. That's it, right?
That's it. I mean,
I would take Mahomes. I would take Herbert. I would take. I would take. What's his name?
Are you taking Herbert off of? You think he could do better, or are you taking him off of his talent?
No, I think he could do better because I know his win-loss record isn't great. But if you guys watched that game, his team absolutely did not help him out, and he put them in the situation to win, and they didn't help him out. So I would take Mahomes. I would take Burrow. I would take Herbert. I might take C.J. Stroud. I'm really liking what I see from C.J. Stroud.
He looks good.
I wouldn't take Hurts. Hurts has the best offensive line in football, and I don't know what he would do. That might be the only ones, though.
What do you got, Will B?
You know what, man? I would like to see what Trevor Lawrence could do in this. He's got an arm to throw deep. You get Danny Gray down there. Oh, that could be a deadly combination. Or pair him up with somebody else. Herbert, what would a good pure pocket passer in this, that could throw have a long ball would be deadly. Herbert, Josh Allen. Let's see. I don't
know about Allen this year.
Yeah, this year is kind of a bum. Jalen Hurts, I was thinking about it, but he's kind of more of a run first guy. We've already got McCaffrey.
He's not having a great year, Josh Allen, team wise and statistically wise, but fantasy football, he still puts up 25.
Yeah, he can throw though. He can definitely throw a deep ball. That's for sure.
I don't think Josh Allen would work in this offense because I think the style that he plays in, he sort of has to be the offense. The whole offense is centered around him.
He would conflict with.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what
how about we take? We might have to. I guess we can't though. How about just on pure skill, or do you want to base it on who the head coach is? Because that has a difference.
No, I'm just saying who would you rather have running the offense? The 49ers. So you got
So
Shanahan.
you're basing it off of Shanahan. Got it. Okay.
Shanahan ain't going anywhere for the next 5 years.
Well, you know what? There's Tua. Tua might be an interesting option there if they put him in there and see what he could do. I mean,
he has a quick release. Tua scans the field.
I don't like Tua that much. I think
we brought this up before. Could Mahomes even play for Shanahan the way that he is the style of play?
I think Kyle would adapt a little bit just because he would be so.
Offense, but
I think Mahomes
would conflict with Kyle for sure.
I would go with Burrow would be to me the best.
I agree.
So I'm going to go Burrow. In the AFC, what else? I guess Mahomes and I'm a little iffy on Herbert because I like him. I haven't watched him enough to know how his processing is with his reads. But right now, there's those only two guys I can think of for sure would be Burrow and Mahomes. Maybe Herbert, but
you know who's putting up a case this year?
Who's that?
Dak. Dak is having a great year this year.
This year, Dak is having a great year, but I still like Purdy's decision.
I like Purdy
against the good teams.
I like Purdy too, but Dak just
easy to put up those stats.
Just stats based. He's having his best statistical year, I think, this year. He's really good. Or this right now at this moment, he's playing elite football. I mean, he hasn't played against the best teams. I think there was a record that he was like 6-1 against teams under 500 and some other under 500 record against teams under 500. So I think you do have to see it against a winning team.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, it is.
What do you guys? I was reading Matthew's comment here. Do you think any team can convince Brady to come out of retirement for the last 3-4 games of the season in a playoff run? Is there? Cleveland Browns would be one, huh?
Oh man, you think so?
That's not happening.
Could you imagine? I mean, I could.
Maybe he goes to Cincinnati, huh?
I could see Brady doing something with. I think Cleveland has a better shot to make a run with their defense. But I mean, that offense wouldn't be that hard. It's at this point they don't. I mean, they can't move the ball at all with DTR or PJ Walker. I mean, that's bad. They're
How
in
much
bad
did they
shape.
pay Deshaun?
Oh man, worst trade in history. Oh my Lord.
What was that? Which trade?
Deshaun Watson.
Oh, you're talking about worst signing?
Yeah, that
was a horrible signing, and it's all guaranteed.
Yep, it's all guaranteed.
That's why, yeah. I mean, he's players love Deshaun Watson because he got them a lot more money guaranteed. Before Deshaun Watson, you never had a contract that got that much money with it 100% guaranteed. And that's what got Boza's money. I'm telling you, that's what got Boza so much guaranteed money. It's a wave, and owners are dumb because it's going to bite them. You know, but next week, Niners, short week, Thanksgiving.
Hey, real quick before you get into next week, Dan, you concerned about the injury to Hufanga?
Yes.
I am, in a sense that Jair Brown. There's a lot of people that love Jair Brown, but there were some scouts that didn't think thought he was way overdrafted. I know a lot of people are really high on him. I haven't seen enough of him, but I think he's going to be fine. But I would like to see them scour the waiver wires, the free agents out there, and
watch him re-sign
Jaquiski. I brought that up, and Larry, they said he hasn't really played the last 2 years, so I don't think
doesn't matter. He's a favorite. They'll still bring him back. Shit, Brady hasn't played in a while, and we're asking to bring him back.
Yeah, I don't know if Tart. I thought about it, but I thought he played. I thought he was on somebody's practice squad. I guess not. But he's only 31.
Last year he was.
He's only 31. But I think there's got to be some safeties out there that are free agents, whether they're, and you can poach a guy off of a practice squad if you put him on your 53. So if you see somebody that you really like, just as a backup, I think you're going to have to go with Brown. But you're thin in safeties.
Yep. And that's the weakness for the Niners, right? Is the secondary, correct?
Secondary's been.
They got Luter back, and
he was active today.
Womack's coming back pretty soon. There was another kid in training camp. I want to say his last name was Hawkins. That was
Taylor Hawkins.
Good. And I don't know if he's on the practice squad or.
What happened to the kid that used to be? He was a safety from Alabama. They had him they drafted him a couple years ago. Had him on the practice squad. I don't know where he is now. I'm trying to think of his name. I thought its last name started with an M, if I'm remembering right. But he was
Alabama?
He was from Alabama. He was a late draft pick or a free agent when they got him. Came out of the draft in 22. Mabin? No, was it Mabin? Is there a Mabin?
Mabin was a cornerback.
No, there's a safety. Somebody in the chat's going to know that. Anybody put his name out there? Gerald Mabin? Does that sound right? I watched him at Alabama. I watched his highlights, and he was always around the ball.
Well, the Hufanga injury is gonna be a hit, and he was an All-Pro last year, right? He was first team All-Pro, but he wasn't playing at an All-Pro level this year.
Right.
He was missing tackles. He was late on assignments.
Jared Maiden. That's his name.
he wasn't great in coverage this year, so he wasn't having a great year. But he's still a leader on that defense. He's a young player. I think it's his third year now, but he's a leader and he's a vocal leader on that team. And they respect him. So I think from that aspect, that's going to be I think the mental aspect is going to be a bigger loss than the actual in-game product. Because I think Jair Brown can hold it down. I think he flashed today. He was always around the ball, right? He intercepted a pass. He broke up a pass.
Yep.
He just always around the ball. And that's what we saw from Hufanga last year, right? He was always around the ball. So I think that's sort of a trait that you can have. It's sort of in your DNA. It's just you're always around the ball somehow. You're always able to intercept a pass. You're always able to block or break up a pass. It's just something that you're just always near the ball, and that leads to turnovers and interceptions. So I think there's an upside here.
You know, Hufanga hurt his knee before week 1, and it was kind of like kept under the wraps. But from what I hear, it was pretty bad. I think he's been playing hurt all year.
No, I think there was an offseason rumor.
He got hurt.
I think there was an offseason rumor that he had like a cyst in his knee.
Yeah.
And those cysts are common with ligament damage.
Mm.
So I don't know if that cyst wasn't there, that he would have torn his ACL as well. But
a Baker cyst.
Yeah, it's like if you have a Baker cyst, there's some ligament damage there. So that's probably a factor.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be, this week we got a short week. They're facing Seattle, up in Seattle.
Geno Smith is a little
banged up.
Banged up, yeah.
So is Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, Walker's done.
Because Jair Brown, your first game as a starter is against 3 pretty damn good wide receivers, and they like to throw the ball. So
who's their receivers? You got Lockett, and then you got DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith.
Yep.
Yeah.
Najigba.
Yep. Legit receivers.
Yeah. And is Walker going to be out, you think, for this game? Or it's probably not a long-term injury, right?
I think it might be a long-term injury, too, because apparently Pete Carroll said it's legit. No blue injury.
Exactly. I was going to say what Boris
said. Thank you for Charbonnet, Dan.
Yeah, I was just going to say. Los has got Charbonnet.
There was only one play there where Jair, he kind of spaced out on, and he didn't.
Nice to have him. I would have had him on my bench next week anyway, but still, I was waiting for that move. I was waiting for Walker to go down for the last 6 weeks. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Will. Yeah, you were saying that first play that he was in, right?
Yeah, it's almost like he was spacing out there for a second. He
was flat-footed. He thought he was going to break in, and he kept going. He's like, "Oh crap." So, hey,
other than that, though, he was fine, man.
You could only learn so much on film, and he actually learned his lesson. And that's what I liked about him. Like, his first play was not a good play. Instead of hanging his head, he came back.
Pollard had a decent day today, finally.
A couple of big plays. So I like mental toughness.
Yeah. Here's a question for you guys: who's more valuable to the Niners defense, Nick Bosa or Fred Warner?
Fred Warner. I said it at the beginning of the year, and I got laughed at.
I think it's Fred Warner because just by watching the game, right? I'm not analyzing anything, but if you're watching the game from a fan's perspective, you're not tracking any play or for fantasy or anything. You're just watching the game. The one guy that's always around the ball, that's always making plays, that the announcers are talking about is Fred Warner. He takes a game over on defense. Now, Bosa was doing that last year. He's not doing that this year. Warner's the one guy on that defense who can play all 3 positions. He can rush the passer, he can stop the run, and he can cover. He's
the captain and the emotional leader of the defense.
Yep, yeah. He's like a specimen. He is so good, and we're able to watch him in his prime. I think he should be in the running for the Defensive Player of the Year. I think he's having that great of a season.
I agree.
He had 2 passes deflected today. He had a forced fumble. He had 12 tackles. He had a half a sack. He was everywhere. And that's what you want your best players to do. You see it on the Steelers. TJ Watt always shows up. On the Raiders, Max Crosby always shows up. On the Bills, when Matt Milano was healthy, he would always show up. These are your elite players. These are your top players, and you need them to show up. And Fred Warner's showing up every week, and he's bringing it. So I just think that's special. It's special to watch. The amount of grit and hard work and just that he brings it every play. He gives 110% every play, and I think he's so good.
Yep. I noticed that they're not having their third linebacker on the field much.
Right.
Flanagan. I mean, they're either playing 5 defensive linemen or 5 DBs, but it's always Warner and Greenlaw. You don't see a third linebacker the last 2 weeks, and their defenses played better. So, good adjustment by Wilkes. You know,
Armstead looks really
nice.
11
guys on the field, depending on what kind of a team you're playing. You have to match up. If it's a throwing team, you play some way. If it's a running team, you play a different way. So, good adjustment by Wilkes, because that third linebacker, Burks and Flanagan, Foles, they're all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Warner is definitely the leader. I mean, he's the vocal leader. He seems to be the leader just by example. I just love his no nonsense. I mean, he had a tackle today near the sideline. He just he was just just throwing the dude down. It's just like he doesn't care. And he just walks away. He's like, boom, you're hitting. It's legal. I'm throwing your ass down hard. Boom, walking back, I
think Warner's had at most 1 or 2 off games this year.
And I didn't like the PI call on him today.
I didn't like that either. I thought he was making a play on the ball.
Yeah, he was. He was making a play on the ball, and it happened to, hit his hand, and then in the ball, the fact that it didn't prevent the guy from catching it. The ball was over it was an uncatchable ball. Sometimes a ball's thrown uncatchable because the quarterback's trying to throw it and doesn't want to, have an interception. In this case, it was just a bad call. The ball was already right there. And when he went up to go for the ball, it kind of hit his hand, but he had no shot at catching it. I don't know. The PI call is one of the most controversial calls in football, I think. I've seen some really, really just bogus PI calls that are like, what? And then other times they'll let a guy mug them and they let it go. It's just like crazy. So, Niners, today's was around the league. I want to pull that up here. Let me having a hard time just seeing. But what was your upset of the week this week? What'd you guys think? Who was the upset of the week? Was it Washington losing to the Giants?
Oh man, that should be one of them.
Don't even mention that.
That kicked me out of my Survivor League. There was 5 of us left. Get this, 5 of us left in the Survivor League. 4 of us picked Washington. The other guy picked Jacksonville and won. I was going to go with Houston. I hadn't picked them yet, and I was a little nervous because I thought that game was going to be a little too close to call. So I thought, Giants suck. They can't score. Washington's in somewhat of a, playoff hunt that they have to keep winning. And they lay an egg at home. It's unbelievable.
Lions are lucky they won.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I texted you, and they were down 2 touchdowns with 3 minutes to go. And I'm like, it looks like they're going to lose. And dang. Didn't get any help there for the Niners.
Chargers losing was a surprise to me. I thought the Chargers were going to win. I thought did you see their coach's interview after the game?
Yeah, he was getting all snarky.
Yeah, he knows he's fired at the end of the season.
I think he'll get fired before the end of before the season. I would have fired. Yeah, Brandon Staley. I would have fired. Yeah, I thought I had him being the first coach fired. I missed it. So there we have it. We have Steelers, Browns. That was a boredom bowl game, all defense. I mean, two horrible quarterbacks. Najee Harris sounded off today, said he's tired, getting tired. The headline was, "Tired of Steelers struggles on offense."
Good. Bench him so Warren can get all the love.
Pretty much is right now. Pretty much is.
He says there's just a lack of stuff that goes around that you guys don't see. He said, I guess I'm trying to say I'm just at a point where I'm just tired of this SHIT, I guess. Harris' tone was a shift to the rhetoric he used earlier in the season to execute better. So Najee Harris looking to get his way out of Pittsburgh. I'd take him as a back in the 49ers system.
I wouldn't. He's so slow. He is so slow.
He really is.
Is he kind of slow?
Good. Yeah, he's not good.
Yeah.
He has no burst whatsoever.
Running through mud.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he's done then, huh? I guess I'm looking at him of a couple years ago, Najee. All right, so we're going through the scores here. We mentioned the Packers winning at home. Chargers fall to 4-6. Raider game closer than a lot of people thought it would be.
Yeah.
I kind of thought the Raiders might give them a game just because they really like this new coach, and they seem to be playing really hard.
I think I picked Green Bay.
I think you did. I can't remember our picks. We have to, no one writes them down.
We just picked them last night.
I know.
No, Saturday. Yeah, it's fine.
Can't remember, man. Can't remember. It's like I gotta do my concussion therapy. Okay. Wait. Here we go. Figure eights. Okay. Cowboys in a laugher. Titans get blown out by the Jaguars. This was a good game. Cardinals, Texans came down to toward the end. Cardinals had a chance.
A nice game for me.
What's that? Yeah, Tank Dell did. Yeah.
That division is going to be interesting though. The Texans 6-4 and the Jaguars 6-3.
They play this week,
and they still have 2 games with each other.
Yeah. So there's the rest of the games. We talked about the Rams upsetting the Seahawks, which is great. The field goal kicker for Seahawks missed a 55-yarder at the end of the game. I heard it was windy down in L.A. Ryan posted something about the wind. I'm going to see if I pull up the standing. Does that pull it up? Can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I didn't have to switch out. So let's take a look at the just the playoff situation here. Okay, so if the playoffs were to end today, the Steelers would be the last team in the AFC. Buffalo just on the outside. I think Buffalo, well, they got a tough schedule. They got a very tough schedule. I think they've got don't they have the Chiefs and the Cowboys and
the Eagles, I think.
Eagles coming up or something? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, Seattle's got a tough schedule.
How many teams make it? 8?
7. So I don't see the Colts being in there. Broncos are
awesome. A sleeper team. They're a sleeper team.
They won again tonight. 21-20. Man, that's crazy that 4-6, you're 2 out, and there's what? How many games left? 6 for 7 for some teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how many weeks are there? There's 18, and we're in week 11. Just finished in week 11, so you get 12. 7 weeks of the season left. 6 games for some, 7 for others. The last bye week is week 14. So we did it. Did you write those things down, Bora, when we projected who our playoff teams were going to be? I thought you wrote it down.
I did.
Okay, good.
The question is, does he still have the page, though?
I don't even know where that notebook is.
Skip mine. I think my last pick was the Falcons. Yeah. Look at that. The Vikings right in it after even losing. I don't think anybody below the 7 right now in the NFC, if you look at that right there, I don't see anybody below that getting in. Right. Do you guys?
No.
Have 6 losses, everybody, or more?
No, yeah, those guys are toes.
So who's it going to come? Well, let's see. One of the teams, Tampa or Atlanta, could still win the NFC South and knock out New Orleans.
That division, it makes me sick that one of those teams is going to be able to host a playoff game.
Right.
You know, that sucks. It really does. They could be like an 8-9 team and host a playoff game, and they become the 4th seed, and then they would play the 5th seed, right? Yeah, which right now would be Dallas, which would wipe them out, I would think. So, wow. So wait a minute. I said Minnesota's on the outside. They're in right now. They're the 7th seed. Yeah,
they have a pretty good shot at getting in. I don't think their schedule is too hard.
As we get closer, we'll have to look at some of these schedules as we get into like week 13 and 14 when it really gets down to the last 3-4 games. It'd be like, yeah, okay, now you're looking at schedules. So Niners, this next 3 games, if they win the next 3, they will walk in with the division because they will be 3 up on Seattle
with the tiebreaker, right?
Yeah.
So they could just rest their players for the last 3 weeks.
Right.
Well,
if they don't have the 1 seed. If they don't have the 1 seed.
Yeah. But if they have a shot here, I'm going to pull up on my phone here Detroit's schedule because they're the ones to me that have the inside track at the 1 seed.
I think so too. The Eagles have a pretty tough schedule. The Lions have a cakewalk schedule. They have such an easy schedule, and I honestly don't know if they're going to lose another game.
Well, they have the Cowboys in Dallas late.
I think that's their only tough game, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Other than that, there's really no team that's a big threat to them.
Right. Yeah. And that's why I thought, dang, I'll tell you what, they could lose to the Bears when they play in Chicago. Division games are tough. The fact that the Bears had them today might leave a little sour note with the Bears going forward.
I don't know, though, because Jared Goff did have 3 interceptions.
Yeah, and that was at home. That was at home. He doesn't play well on the road. Anybody want Goff? Dang it. Trade deadline passed. I don't know. Everybody's going to have a bad game. So here's the Lions' remaining schedule. They've got the Packers on Thanksgiving. Then they go to the Saints. Then they're home. Then they go to the Bears. Home for the Broncos. That could be a tough game. On the road to the Vikings, and then on the road to the Cowboys, and it finished at home with the Vikings. I think there's 2 losses in there. I really do. I'll tell you who I think they lose to. I think they lose to the Cowboys, and I think they lose to the Vikings once. Trying to play the Vikings 2 out of the last 3 games. It's kind of like the Niners having played the Seahawks. But I think the Niners have I think the Niners are convinced. I think they're just a better team than Seattle, much more than.
I don't think Seattle's good at all.
No, I agree.
I mean, and now you're potentially missing Geno and Kenneth Walker for a decent amount of time. I mean,
but Geno went back in the game on the last drive.
He did. So they might have Geno. But I think Kenneth Walker's pretty good. And without him, they just have Charbonnet. And I don't know if he's as a dynamic runner.
I just remember the Niners played him a few years ago. I think it was the 21 season. And the Seahawks were without. It was the year. Maybe it was the. Was it the 19 season where they had to play Seattle and win the division with the goal line tackle by Greenlaw?
Yes.
Was it Greenlaw that made?
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
that year they had all their running backs out and they had to bring in Marshawn Lynch.
Yep.
I think it was that year.
Yeah,
But
that's right.
They had Penny was one of their back. They had like three backs. They were down all three, and yet they still somehow made it a game. But they also had Russell Wilson. So I don't know if the 49ers can beat Russell Wilson. Doesn't matter what team he plays on. He plays unbelievable against the Niners. So.
He didn't play that great in the last game. Just Jimmy Garoppolo played so
stepped out of bounds.
Like
that was
Russell
a game.
Wilson had one good drive against the Niners.
Yeah, at the end. When it mattered.
Yeah.
Looking at the standing.
He made the drive when it counts.
I mean, looking at these teams, right? Who are the locks to make the playoffs? It's the Eagles, Lions, Niners, and Cowboys, right? Right now, I would say the Cowboys are a lock to make the playoffs, right?
Oh yeah, their schedule's way so easy, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are the only four teams that are locks to make the playoffs. I mean, the Saints, they're up by 1, right? I mean, the next best record is 4-6. So I mean, that's not a gimme. I mean,
Niners want to get into at least the second seed.
I don't know if they're like, if they win out, they might not even get the second seed because
they would. Yeah, they would.
You think so?
Yeah, they win out.
Well, we need KC to win tomorrow night to get.
Yeah, we need KC to win tomorrow. I mean, possibly, yeah. Eagles, they went 15-2, and the Niners went 14-3. But I think the Eagles are going to lose more than one game.
What's the tiebreaker between the Eagles and Niners?
I tell you, if I'm a Cowboys,
or is it head-to-head? It's going to be head-to-head.
It'll come down to head-to-head.
Yeah. If I'm the Cowboys organization or a fan, I want somebody to knock out the Niners because really I think Dallas is so confident against any team in the NFC, including Philadelphia. Philly doesn't have that great of a D for some reason this year, and they move the ball on, but they don't match up well against the Niners. Dallas is praying that somebody knocks out the Niners because I think I don't know. I need to see more on Philly, but maybe Philly gets it together. But on paper, they should have a better defense than they are. Maybe they're banged up more than they're letting on, but Sam Howell just threw on them easily. And they're supposed to have this great pass rush, and Sam Howell lit them up twice. So it's all about matchups, boys.
Yeah, and CeeDee Lamb went through, how many yards you get? 140 yards on him? Just one guy? I mean, come on, give me a break.
Hiroku been talking smack all
when he's
all week.
He's like they're really only weapon on the outside.
I think Hiroku's going to end up having to – he's been talking a lot of smack lately, huh?
You can finish number 1 seed, man.
Yeah, he's winning. He can do it.
Yeah. You get to buy with 1 or 2 seed, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. So you guys
fantasy football?
You guys both lost today, right? You guys both lost today, right?
Yes. Yeah, me and Los.
Dang. So you guys are 8-3, but you're in the playoffs.
So all that
matters.
I think mathematically, even if you lost out, I think you'd make the playoffs.
Yeah, Los big matchup next week.
Who's your matchup with next week, Los?
Yep.
Bora?
Yeah.
Bora.
Ooh. Bora's just hanging on, man.
Yep. Hanging on by a thread.
He made the moves this week. And
He
It
made
paid
good
off.
trades, and he remembers week 1, so he's got revenge for sure.
Yeah. That was a
Well,
great
started
game.
on that losing
You won by like 4
So
points,
he's
didn't you?
Week 1.
Yeah.
When did
Yeah.
Hiroku last lose? He's been did he lose last week or does he keep winning? When did he lose last?
I can't remember. Hold on, let me look. It was
He had a 2-game win streak. Burrow snapped my 5-game win streak.
You had a 5-game win streak? I
I
had
had a 5-game.
I think I've only won 2 in a row once. Dang. Who do I got next week? Do I have
Bora
you?
right now? They haven't calculated the whole for this week yet, but he's on a 3-game winning, so that's 4 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
For Bora? Yeah.
Yeah, 4 in a row.
Oh, I got you next week, right, Will?
Yeah, it's me and you.
Shoot. Who's
This should be a
Dallas
good
playing?
matchup.
Dallas getting the Giants for the 3rd time?
Yeah,
Sam
get
Howell.
Washington.
Sam Howell's playing Dallas this week. That might not be.
Oh, is it on Thanksgiving Day?
Yeah, Thursday.
Of course.
Oh, good. Maybe the defense will be tired. Maybe that cornerback for the Cowboys is tired of having pick sixes. Brant, how many?
Washington
you got another one today.
gives up a lot of sacks, so I don't know if Mr. Howell's going to have a great game, but we'll see.
Shoot,
Jesus? Dell is completely going off for Houston. He's completely negating Nico Collins for me in the other league.
He got 13 points though. He got 13 points.
I mean, what a tank get.
31.
I need Noah Brown back, man. At least Noah Brown catches the ball downfield.
Ooh, I
Nico
hope
Collins is Mr. 8 to 10 yard dig.
I hope Justin.
He has the height though.
Jefferson's
I think he's 6'4", so he has the ability to go up.
Exactly. They need to use him in the red zone, but
they threw it to him once. I was watching that game. They threw it to him once. He caught it, but he was out of bounds. And then they targeted him again, and Stroud threw his 2nd interception, I think, on that play. So he's getting targeted. I like my little double up with them though. I got Collins, Dell receiving.
you got Jordan Love on a bye, buddy.
Seriously?
You got Jordan Love on a bye, bud. Yeah.
Something have one slot right in.
You need to do what I did to Romo. No, I didn't have any quarterbacks when I beat Romo. I had 0.
Oh, that's right.
That was bad.
Well, you did have a quarterback technically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I had Huntley. I was hoping that Baltimore would blow him out, and he would get some 4th quarter mop up duty.
Oh, that's what you were hoping. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I could do. Because we got guys that have 5 quarterbacks on their roster, so it's karma, man.
Hogging up all the good players.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we gotta discuss. Wait a minute. Yeah, I just gotta hope Jefferson plays next week. Shoot, that's gonna be a good game between me and Gates.
Yeah. I think that'll be a good one.
Dang.
We go down to the wire probably. Knocking on wood.
Yeah. Jeez. Speaking of, we got Hiroku in the house. What do you think? What do you think needs to be done? He carried a guy today. He carried a guy on IR that was not on IR. Khalil Herbert. He was supposed to move him off of IR and release somebody.
I didn't do that. I thought they would
How do you do that?
You get noticed. You're supposed to get no. You get no. I just had to pull off Fryermouth off IR, and so I had to let somebody go to make room for him. So he had Herbert, who was supposed to be activated, and you have to move somebody off your roster, and then Deontay Foreman gets hurt, so that makes Herbert more valuable going forward. And he had Chandler in the lineup. He said he was going to move Chandler out. Chandler has a good game tonight. I think he has to move one of those 2 off the roster, man.
And who is this?
Hiroku.
Oh, better call the commish.
It might be a commissioner decision. You got to when you get a guy, you're supposed to move your guy off IR. You get alerted when they're activated. It says I got it Firemouth Saturday. It says, this player is no longer eligible for IR. You must make a move. So.
Yeah, I didn't know if Yahoo would let you keep someone. I know in the ESPN, they definitely slap you in the face for that one.
Yeah, because you got an unfair advantage now. You got a guy that
you have an extra player.
You got an extra player, and then you can choose. I think he has to release one tonight, not after after the waiver claim, because make Herbert or Chandler available if anybody else wants to put a claim on him.
Matthew says you can keep a healthy guy on IR as long as you don't take him off IR or pick up any players. That's fantasy rules. It's legal.
It is. How come I got the dang notice? It said Firemouth's no longer on IR. He's off IR. Saturday came off Saturday, and I had to move him. I don't know why that popped up.
I have no idea.
Maybe
because you tried to pick up a player. That's what Jimmy says.
Maybe if you tried to pick up somebody, yeah.
We know you tried to pick up a player.
I would never do that.
Never.
Okay, so maybe that's it. Okay, well that's cool. Then he just has to. I guess he can. Well, can you continue to leave him on IR if he's not on IR? I didn't think you could.
Maybe if you just don't use him.
Dang. That's a way to maybe negate the system. There you go. Just stick a guy. Well, dang. I'll just leave. Well, yeah. There we go. I don't think stashing Aaron Rodgers at this point is going to help. I don't think he's coming back this year.
No. It'd be a long shot if he does. Man.
Why would he come back even if he does he want to come back just to prove? Maybe Rodgers has got that big of an ego enough to come back just to say, look, I'm the fastest guy that I beat Achilles. I'm going to come back and show you. Pops it again, yeah. At this point, I think he's smart enough.
Jerry Rice came back from an ACL in
3 months,
10 weeks.
Yeah,
how crazy is that?
Well, Marino
I remember that.
Didn't Marino play? Didn't Marino
play? He caught a touchdown pass that night too. I remember Rice. He caught a touchdown pass and slant over the middle.
On that play.
Yep, he got hurt. Yeah,
against Denver.
What's Matthew saying here? I can't see without my this eye still being so blurry.
Oh, my bad. He says a healthy player on IR can go on forever, but he's in the roster lock. He can't make any trades or pickup while has a healthy player on IR.
There we go. That's the okay. There we go. That's the rules. I guess I was trying to move somebody. That's why it popped up and says you can't keep him on IR.
Yep.
And then once you try and do that, you can't even leave him in IR. Well, I guess you could if you didn't want to do anything else. But shoot, that would be like putting me in solitary confinement with no food, man. I'd go nuts. I'm okay. I'm okay with my team. We'll see where it goes. And maybe I make the playoffs. Maybe I don't. If I get in the playoffs, maybe I, it's all a crapshoot anyway. But
Ryan has a question.
Should I start Fields on Thursday or Stroud on Sunday? Who the Bears playing Sunday or Thursday?
What we got here? Minnesota.
Minnesota? They're playing Thursday or Friday?
Minnesota.
Friday game?
Hold on one second.
I thought it was a Friday game.
I think it is a Friday, yeah.
Monday, November 27th.
How do you not start Stroud?
Oh, Stroud, they're playing Jacksonville.
Let's start Stroud then.
How did Stroud do the last time they played?
They haven't played yet.
And this is a home game. I'd go with Stroud. Although Fields, man, they're letting Fields run. Who has Fields? You do, Will?
Yeah, you traded him to me. Remember?
I can't remember who I traded so many people the last week, man. I can't even remember who. I had Herbert too for a while.
He wasn't on your lineup for more than a day. You traded him.
Yeah, Herbert was in and out, but
Yeah, Fields went from Los to Dan to Will in like less than 24 hours.
Dang. Yeah, I had no idea I was going to end up with Kyler Murray.
Okay, so Stroud did play at Jacksonville week 3, and he put up 23 fantasy points.
They played already?
Yeah.
Okay.
They beat Jacksonville, right?
Yeah, they did. He got 280 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, okay. There's your answer.
Hey, injuries today. Big injuries today. Achane came back.
The Dolphins again.
He's back out again, right?
Mm-hmm.
They say he could have gone back in the game was a precaution, but who the hell
really?
knows?
Okay.
But from the sounds of it, he's had a knee injury since preseason. Is what they
Did
were
it
saying.
Tyreek have a scare today too?
Yeah, he had a scare, but it seems like
Cup had a scare too, right?
Cup,
he came back in though.
Heroic Dan has players on his roster 3 different times. I don't know. My only guy that has survived my roster from the draft now is Goff. That's it. Out of 15 people.
Oh.
That might be a record. I don't know. That's out of control.
I got a better question for you, Dan. What are you going to do after fantasy football is over, man?
I'm going to get ready for fantasy baseball.
Lord.
Los is going to teach me fantasy baseball.
Los, don't do it. Don't.
I am the
don't
champion.
give this man.
No, I'm going to be doing.
That is so hard. Let me tell you, managing fantasy baseball. That's a long season, and you're changing your lineups every day.
I'm not doing
and it's
fantasy
pure
baseball.
rotisserie. It's no.
Yeah, I'm not doing fantasy
pure
baseball.
Stats. That's what I love.
I may not even do fantasy football next year. I may do DFS. Then I don't have to worry about making trades.
I want it on the basis of
my lineup once a week.
I drafted Matt Olson in the 4th round and drafted Corbin Carroll in the 7th round. And Julio Rodriguez in the 1st round. Those are my 3.
I'll tell you what makes a fantasy football league a lot better is doing a dynasty league where you can trade next year's, like if you're at the bottom and you have no shot at winning, you could trade, like let's say, for example, Purdy had Jefferson. Instead of making a trade, he could have asked for my 1st round draft pick next year.
Yeah, see, that's the cool stuff right there.
That's getting cool because then all of a sudden you pick up guys and you're, guys who really want to win it this year are sacrificing for next year. Too bad the Giants are never in that kind of position.
Hey, Dan, I'm gonna have to get out of here.
Nope.
I have a test in the morning. I got to study.
Ace that test. Keep winning. Keep winning. Who do you got next week? Los. Okay.
Oh,
I want to see a rags to riches story. An 0-7 team. I want to see Bora go.
I don't.
Hey, you know what? If you beat Los next week and I win, I'm a game behind him and I play him again on week 13, I could maybe catch him. Yeah.
I don't know. All right, guys. I'll see you later.
Take it easy, Mark. Good luck tomorrow, man.
That didn't even phase him. All right, see you later.
He's got his priorities straight, man. He's got a test in the morning.
Yeah.
There you go. I like that. Hey, my buddy told me about this fantasy league where the defenses get a point for every 3 and out they have. That's
cool. Oh, okay.
That's
I like
cool.
that. That's outside the box.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, you have a defense that gets 3 and out, and you get a point on that. Like,
that's good.
I like that. That's
that is awesome.
Yeah, I got to ask him what's the name of that league. I might join that next year. That's pretty cool. Because it makes you think, a little bit more than the typical type of fantasy stuff,
Hey, speaking of, rules and different things, if there was one thing, if you were commissioner of the NFL, and you could give me 3 things that you would do to change the game. Give me 3 things you would like to change. You want me to go first? I already had it in my mind.
I could think of a few already.
First thing I would want to do is get rid of the automatic first down for defensive holding, because I've seen it 3rd and 30.
Just make
and
it
I'm sick of that. I'm sick of that. If you're going to do that crap, how about offensive? You're making everything offensive. Hold. How about holding? It's now 4th down. Just automatic 4th down, man. If holding on first down, I'm so sick of everything. Defense does great, and all of a sudden, some phantom hold that doesn't affect would have never given them a first down in the first place. And so that's one rule I would change. The other is the bumping within 5 yards. Make it 10, man. I'm so tired. DBs have no shot. And I know they do it for offense, but it's just like, come on, man. So those are 2 of the things I can think of. And then reviews, unlimited challenges if you're right. If you lose your challenge, you miss, you got 1 challenge left. You got 2 challenges a game, but every time you're right, you keep it. I'm tired of guy having to apologize for an official's mistake. What? You screwed up and I get penalized because I don't have any challenges? Come on. Isn't the goal to get the calls right? Right? I mean, maybe if refs are making that many bad calls and a coach challenges 7 times and he's right 7 times, maybe the NFL will wake up and say, crap, maybe we should get some good officials. Maybe we should get some younger guys. Maybe we should get more officials out there so we can scan the field a little bit better. Maybe we need, instead of 7 or 8 officials a game, maybe we need 2+ officials on the sidelines deeper so that they're able to see more things.
Right.
Because Lord knows they have the money, right? I mean, just get the calls right. It's ridiculous in a sport that is so wealthy and so much driven by TV revenue and gambling and everything that calls get messed up. I mean, I don't know. To me, a guy should be able to challenge if he's right. I mean, can you tell me why it's if you had 2 challenges and you're right, and all of a sudden game's on the line and they miss a call and it's just at 2 minutes and 4 seconds. I know anything inside 2 minutes automatically gets challenged by the NFL, but let's say 2:04, team's driving and they call some catch that really wasn't a catch, and you can't throw the red flag. Like, how about Shanahan last year, the catch by Devontae Smith on the first drive of the game, and he didn't challenge it? Imagine that happening in the 4th quarter, and you're out of challenge flags, and even though you want to challenge it and you can't.
Right.
So that's my beef. What do you guys got? What kind of rules would you want to see changed in the game?
I have a lot.
Go for it.
Give us 3.
I have about 8.
give us your top 3 that are really grind you.
I'm a defensive guy, so I don't like roughing the quarterback and wide receivers. I mean, I don't want people getting hit in the head for sure, but I don't like quarterbacks wearing skirts and getting every single call. I mean, it's got to be pretty blatant to get a roughing the quarterback. If the DB hits when Gibson got that unnecessary roughness against Cleveland, it was a horrible call. Changed the whole game. He hit hit him textbook with his shoulder to shoulder. But because his head's kind of snapped back, the refs threw the flag. So I would want them to really review that. I mean, I'm all for protecting players, but it's gotten too much. Quarterbacks and wide receivers are protected far too much, and defenses are handcuffed.
Yep.
I'd actually like the pass interference to go to the college rule. I think pass interferences are such game changers in late games. The pass interference I hate the most is the guy's running and the ball's underthrown. It's a poorly thrown ball, and the DB's trying to run at top speed, and he just slows down and runs into him. And here we have a 60-yard penalty, kick the field goal, win the game. I like to see the college rule of
15 yards.
Pass interference being 15 yards. That's it.
I like that. I think the college game is so much
I think the
better
college
officiated.
Is better, has better rules across the board than the NFL.
And they don't have this automatic first down defensive holding.
Yeah. I like yours with the defensive holding being an automatic first down. I think that's if it's 3rd and 20, then it's 3rd and 15. It's not an automatic. And just you think of these rules are all predicated to the offense. The NFL wants the NFL wants the Super Bowl we had last year, Kansas City and the Eagles. They want 39 to 38 games, 41 to 37. But the old school football with those defensive, I'm not talking about like the Raiders, Steelers, 10-7 AFC championships, but people love, good defensive battles.
Oh,
and you got to make it fair. Another one that's, I kind of feel bad for quarterbacks getting an interception against their resume or their stats when it hits the wide receiver right in the hand. If somehow that would be like, if it hits the wide receiver directly in the hand and it tips up and it's a pick, like that interception somehow go on the wide receiver's record, maybe knocks him down a little bit.
Or a team interception or something.
Team interception. Yeah, I don't think that should go against the quarterback itself. That's kind of like a more kind of a nitpicky one. But yeah, those are my main ones.
Got any, Will?
Yeah, I got some. I think they should make all plays reviewable. I mean, with that too, it goes hand in hand with the referees. We should have full-time referees, not these guys who just got done teaching math class to second graders, now out there refereeing the damn game. I think we should have actually professional referees who all they do is that's all they do: eat, breathe the damn rules.
Yeah, so the NBA and Major League Baseball does.
Right, yeah, and roughing the passer. I agree with Lois on that one. They do. We're getting to the point to where it's flag football now.
I was going to say flag football. I mean, we got that coming in the Olympics. Can you see that coming to the NFL for the quarterback?
Yeah, we're not too far off, are we?
I said it 5 years ago. We're heading toward flag football. Now they're going to the Olympics, and guys in the NFL want to play in the Olympics.
Well, hell, even if these guys get a hard hit, a legal hard hit on the receiver, they still throw a flag. Like, okay, so what you supposed to do? You're just wrap him up and just gently take him to the ground.
You're trying to knock the ball out so he doesn't catch it.
Right.
That's the name of the game. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm supposed to give up a first down on the final drive of the game.
Let's let it happen,
Jeez.
God.
What else? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish up, Will.
I really think, there should be some penalty for having, against organizations who have really crappy teams. Who wants to watch majority of the games that we've seen so far in this season have been crap. These teams are terrible. If we were able to have some kind of system in place where you can allow for relegation, I don't, we already have kind of our minor league system already, USFL, XFL, and whatnot, but we could do like a full blown relegation. That would make things so much. I mean, we're a long ways from that. It's obviously a pipe dream, but that would be amazing to see.
Yeah, because you're getting rewarded for sucking by getting a first round pick, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't understand that. That to me, it doesn't.
You should not want to finish in last place.
Exactly. There should be more incentive to finish. Yeah, so better than worse.
What are you saying about the finishing last or whatever?
Usually the way it works. So if you look at like soccer across the seas, you'll see where like the bottom three teams or so, they're in danger of being relegated to a lower division of play because they suck so bad and nobody wants to watch that crap. And in order for them to get back up to the top division, they have to start winning championships in the lower divisions.
So how would you do that in the NFL though?
You can't.
Yeah.
You really, it's a pipe dream. You would have to create, or you would have to have.
Do you think the NFL should go to a?
You'd have to have like NFL 1A, NFL 1B, or some crap like that. It would never happen.
Yeah. Do you think the NFL should go to like the lowest, like a lottery, like the NBA, at the lowest 3 or 4 teams go into
you know what, that would probably fix the whole thing.
So
better. That way you can't
better than just automatically getting a first round pick.
Right. So hey, we have no shot this year. Let's just let's tank for number 1. F that, dude. I mean,
you know what I would do if you want some more revenue, put some interest in it. Let's say you got who's the teams this year? Cardinals and the Panthers. Who's the worst teams? I know the Panthers are like 1-9, right?
Panthers and the Giants.
Giants, Giants blow.
Let's see. All right, so
New England.
Hold on here. Wait a minute. Hold on. Where the heck? Standings. There we go. Expanded. Oh, league. Okay, at the bottom, it's Carolina 1-9, and then Arizona 2-9. Then you got New England right there, 2-8. Okay, so let's take the bottom 2 teams, whatever their records are. If one of them's 2-15 and the other's 4 and whatever it is, just the 2 bottom teams, they play a game. Like we have playoffs. You play a game, and the winner gets the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Now you created some interest for the number 1 pick, and you, the thing is, you got some quarterback who knows he's going to get replaced, and he's just, I'm not winning this game.
Right.
I don't. But anyway, I think it would be kind of interesting. Make them earn that bottom.
I think the Bears have Carolina's pick, so they're going to have 1 and 2, so they can't play. They can't play themselves.
Well, if they're in, geez.
But if it's 2 separate teams, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
The other one I may do that I forgot to mention is, and the league will never do it because the league is all about money. I would eliminate Thursday night football, to be honest.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, there you go.
I know some fans are going to get pissed at that because they like their Thursday night entertainment, but it is brutal to ask these guys to play on a Sunday, and they're just stopping. The soreness of the game is just kind of, disappearing about Thursday, and to have them travel. It's critical to say we want to stop injuries. We want to protect the safety of the players. That's such a hypocritical statement, and then have these guys play on Thursdays.
Well, you know what they're trying to do is they're trying to get primetime network a game, and they've got more money, and they don't want to do Friday nights to compete with high school football, and they don't want to do Saturday night because there's some college football games going on.
Just leave it Sunday night, and Monday night. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just leave that. Just let them play week to week.
I mean,
and honestly, if they want to make the league better, have 2 bye weeks. I know that would screw up a lot of fantasy.
I'm all for. You know what I'm for? I'm for 2 preseason games. They're playing 3 right now, right?
Yeah.
I'm for 2 preseason games. And in fact, I'd be even fine with just 1 preseason game, 18-week schedule, and 2 byes. And everybody gets, byes start in week 4 or 5, and end in like week 14. And you just work it out where everybody gets an earlier bye and everybody gets a late bye. And you get 2 byes. And if you got to even eliminate, heck, college football, they don't have preseason games. Sometimes you get 2 top-ranked teams that are going to be national championship contenders playing in the first game. To get, they're ready to go. NFL's got all this crap going. They got, mini camp. They got OTAs. They got
it's just too difficult.
You know what? Just start the season earlier. Start it in first game, first week of September, and they start usually around the 11th. Start the very end of August, 1st September, live games, 18 games. You got more revenue now because you got a lot more TV revenue. You got an extra week, and you get 2 buys. Eliminate Thursday. I like that, Los. Let's get into player safety and start focusing. They care about the players. They're running these guys out there 3 days from now, and they're going to be, just recovering, and they got to go out there and hit again.
And they're saying they have roughing the quarterback so, technical and so strict because they're trying to protect injuries. But guys can get injured. Superstars can get injured because, one year they had the Niners play on Sunday Night Football, and then they had to fly cross country to Baltimore and play on a Thursday night. That was brutal.
Oh, yeah.
That was horrible scheduling.
Yes. Here's another thing I would change. Give me 53 active guys that all suit up. None of this 47 and you got to have 6 that can't suit up. If you care about these players' safety, sometimes guys are banged up. Let 53 suit up for the game. And, this way, and if you want to have 53, say, okay, or make it 55, I don't care, and just say you've got to carry a third quarterback. Everybody's got to carry a third quarterback on the active roster. And,
and then the other thing is they keep having the international games. They keep having games in Europe.
Yeah, that ain't going to. Unfortunately, that ain't going to stop because that's.
Well, I understand they're promoting the game internationally, but if you're going to do that, you have an East Coast team play those games. Like if you ask Seattle, the Rams, the Raiders, or the Niners to go to Europe, that's not a 6-hour flight. Now that's a 11-hour flight with guys injured, and you're on a plane that long, man.
Is the East Coast, is it 6 hours to Germany or to England?
It's about 5 to 6 hours.
Yeah. Is that it? Oh, okay.
Give or take.
That's nothing.
No, that's like going to the West Coast.
I was wondering why those guys.
But if you ask a West Coast team to fly to Europe,
they usually send them to Mexico.
Yeah. Then that's simple. But that's simple. But it's don't ask a West Coast team to go to Germany.
Yeah. Interesting. I didn't even realize how far that was because I'm used to these trips to Asia, which are 14, 15 hours. They're brutal.
Yeah, they're brutal for just, us normal people. Yeah. Now imagine a guy that has a pulled hamstring or a guy that has a quad and he's got to sit on a plane and he's 6'5", 265 and he's sitting on a plane in a hunched position for 12 hours on a flight. That thing's going to get worse.
And the best sleep you can get is just nodding off every few minutes here.
Yeah, we as fans don't see what these guys go through. I know they have private jets a lot of times and this and that, and that helps. But I don't think football teams have private jets. I know the basketball teams do because it's only like a 15-man roster. But a football team between coaches and the practice squad and the active roster, it's like 80 people. They have to be on a commercial airplane. Every time you see the Niners flying out, it's always on a Delta flight, on a DC-10. So they're flying commercial, and that's brutal. So Thursday night football is just, I get it, why they do it for money, but it's bad for the players.
Yep.
The more injured players there are, and honestly, the quality of the game on Thursday night sucks.
No, yeah, none of these games have been good, man.
Yeah, like if you want to make a little money, like look it up. Like Thursday night games usually are unders.
And then even the overseas games suck.
Yeah, just Thursday night games is not good quality football, and you're just asking for more injuries. So that would definitely be something to get rid of, but I don't see that happening anytime soon.
The dogs are just hanging by me. You got to be next to me for every show. Cracked me up. So I think I don't know. You guys got anything more? about ready to call it a night.
Real quick, Aaron Nola signs with the Phillies, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, what a shock! The Giants are another bridesmaid again.
Yeah, we can wrap up with a few minutes of the Giants. They're not getting anybody of significance. I told you this, and they're saying Bellinger. He's going to sign with the Yankees.
He's going to sign with the Yankees. Yamamoto, I guess Phillies are in hard on him.
Braves.
He wants to play on the West Coast.
I'll tell you what, these guys. Here's why I ripped Farhan so much. Is because guys like Dombrowski, how do you say his name in Atlanta? Anthropoulos or something like that?
I just call him. Here, I'll bring up that tweet right now.
You got him. You got the Dodgers. You've got Cubs. You got a lot of GMs out there that are aggressive like we are in fantasy.
Right.
Farhan is not an aggressive sales type guy, and he's going to sit back and he'll get a 2 or 3 free agents. You watch, but they might get Chapman. They might maybe even get a Blake Snell, but I don't think they're going to get anybody in the field that's like, oh wow, we got Ohtani or we got Yamamoto or we got Bellinger. You're not going to get those type of guys. I'd be shocked.
No, he lacks the killer instinct to make a close. As simple as that.
Oh, how about this tweet? This is a good one. Josh Goldberg says Kevin Gausman's 5-year, $110 million contract is going to be one of the great contracts for a free agent pitcher in recent memory. Far on.
Yeah, go to my post on that tweet.
Did you say something to that?
Pull it up. Just pull me up.
Oh yeah, here, hold on one sec.
I copied that and I put my comment on there because I'm so tired of people not holding Farhan accountable for his rotten moves. He'd rather have 2 mediocre 4th or 5th line pitchers in DeScalfani and Wood than sign an ace like Gausman. He thinks, oh, that's like doing a fantasy trade. Hey, I'll give you 2 of my bench guys for, Chase, or 2 of my bench guys for McCaffrey. Farhan does deals like that. Well, shoot, I can get 2 guys for the same price as McCaffrey.
Yeah, there's your tweet there, Dan.
I can't even see with my
says Farhan Zaidi could have had Gausman, who wanted to re-sign with the Giants, but wasn't willing to pay the price. Instead, he re-signed Alex Wood, Anthony DeScalfani for a combined $22 million a year. Then in 23, he signed Stripling Manaea for a combined $25 million. Bad management has consequences.
Look at, the same money that he spent on those 4, and who's he have left? He's got Stripling and let's see, Stripling and DeScalfani left. So he's got Stripling and DeScalfani left, and he could have had an ace in Gausman. And this is the kind of stuff, but yet the Giants reward him with a 3-year extension. Just tell me it makes sense, and I'll be like, yeah, okay, hey, I see it. But
I wonder what Buster, who was in ownership, thought of that extension. I bet behind the scenes he was telling Greg Johnson and his son and whoever would listen, like, I don't know if that's a good idea, but he's outvoted because, like we always say on the channel, Farhan gets them money in their pockets. That's what ownership cares about. Farhan would accept the trade for Juwan Jennings and Hunter Renfroe for Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
He'd rather have Renfroe and Jennings.
Yeah.
For the same amount of money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Superstar. You need superstars. You need
that's what you need talent. You need exactly, Los. You need superstars with talent. That's what wins you games. Just having a larger amount of mediocrity is not going to help you. Look at their outfield. It's the most expensive outfield in the National League West. And tell me one player that would start on the Dodgers or the D-backs.
And
or maybe even the Padres.
Pat Pearl's the new hitting coach. He's not going to all of a sudden make Yaz a 300 hitter.
So tell me one player that starts that becomes an everyday starter on those teams.
You wouldn't even buy their jerseys.
Exactly. And they're
And
the most expensive outfield.
Joel Sherman, he put this out there. 2 most aggressive top execs are Phillies, Dombrowski, Braves, Anthopoulos. Decide what they want and don't dawdle. In the last week, Atlanta cleared out money / roster space to ease getting a starting pitcher that would look like Nola. So the Phils stepped up and retained Nola. And then I had to put my 2 cents in it. Hello, Farhan. Learn a thing or two from your peers.
Farhan doesn't know how to do that. He just keeps these stupid guys. It's like shuffling, man. It's like I really honestly, and I'm not tooting my horn here to the sense that I know more than, I don't know the major league landscape of the business. Obviously, I've never been in the industry, but I really think if I got into the industry and knew what was going on, and could be coached to shown how what needs done, I really think I say, okay, I know how to go out and maneuver and get deals done. And you got to be aggressive. I mean, it's just like, and you got to be thinking ahead, like, for example, just the whole fantasy last night. I thought the trade deadline was over Friday night. I didn't know it was open. And then all of a sudden I saw that Jefferson, I looked and I saw, crap, he's not playing. Maybe he might be more available because, Cam was 2-8 and it's like they got to buy in week 13. How much use is he's not going to get in the playoffs? How much use is Jefferson going to give him, right? So he says, well, I'll give you he wanted Herbert in the deal for Jefferson, and then he said, I had my choice of Smith or Kyler Murray. I said, well, I'll take Murray. And I said, but I need a back for tomorrow because if I trade he wanted Connor because he needed a back. I said, well, I won't have a back for tomorrow. He says, well, I'll give you Dylan. So I was like, Dylan, it's a tight. I'm looking at the projections and I'm thinking that could cost me a game. I can't afford to lose a game. So I worked and I said, hold on, send me the deal and I'll hold on to it. And if I can pull off a back, I talked to Lowe's. I think I even talked to Will maybe. And then all of a sudden I thought, can I get a deal done with MF? We've tried all year and we really haven't gotten a big deal. So I offered him Taylor. And it was like, who do you want? Swift, Gibbs, or Hall? Like, well, I'll take Gibbs. He said, wisely, he said, I can't let Gibbs go. So he says, I'll do Hall. And as I looked up Hall, studied Hall, and then I says, I wanted another back. And he says, I'll give you Williams. I said, how about Mitchell? Because he didn't want Moss. He said, I'll take Mitchell. Yeah. So I got Williams. So now I have but that was all that's how Farhan should be doing stuff. He should be working. You see teams do that a lot that know what they're doing. They unload certain guys and they have something in mind and they go out and they get it done.
Yep.
And where are those teams? They're in the playoffs.
Speaking of which, Matt brings up a good point here. Yamamoto is going to get posted tomorrow. Where do you guys think he goes?
I think he goes to Atlanta or the Dodgers.
Okay.
You just said that Atlanta was it Atlanta that moved
Atlanta cleared off all the roster space and money, but I think they're going bigger than that.
You think they're going for Ohtani?
I think they're going for Ohtani.
I think you're right.
Think about it. The last 2 years, they got so close to trying to get to the World Series, and they got eliminated both times. I think he's like, you know what? It's time to go big game hunting, and I want to get this guy.
Giants aren't going to even have a chance. Forget it.
No, Giants are out of it.
Yeah, the left fielder that Matt talks about was Yoshida. And that guy can hit, man.
Yeah, he can hit.
The Giants to get in on him. He is the type of hitter, and I talk about all baseball season is perfect for that ballpark. He is a line drive, 280 to 310 hitter, and he did not cost that much money.
And here's the problem: the Giants still can't get people. They struck out on Ohtani, they struck out on Suzuki, they struck out of Senga. I don't know if they were ever in on Yoshida at all, but they can't land these guys, and they're quote unquote on the West Coast, where a lot of people say that's where Japanese players want to play, but they want to go where they're going to win.
Yeah, I mean, give me if I'm Ohtani. Oh, you know who I read today? Who's going to go? Obviously, the Dodgers are going to go hard after Ohtani. I read an article that the Dodgers may go all in and give up quite a bit to get Trout.
I heard that too.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
trade for Ohtani, or no, sign Ohtani and then trade for Trout.
I mean, if the Giants, if they're not going to get these guys,
Kyle Yoshida's a lefty.
You better not let him go to the Dodgers, but you may not have a choice. The Giants.
They don't have anything. You tell me what did the Giants offer a play other than money? What else did the Giants have to offer?
That's the whole thing. Tell me why a player would sign and say, "Well, who's my protection? Slater, right. Slater, Yaz, Conforto." But you only, excuse me. And he says, "Well, we got Conforto be behind you. Well, you platoon him."
Right. Hey, what was their pitch to Aaron Judge? Hey, don't you want to come back to where you're from? Northern California.
Exactly. That's
all they've got. They're good. They would if they go after Reese Hoskins. I guarantee they'll say the same damn thing.
That's the stupidest. Honestly, remember I was talking about that last night. Talking about these certain clubs have a higher Japanese percent. Who cares about the Japanese population? If he cared about that, he'd play in Japan. He wants to go where he wants to win. That's what he wants. He wants to freaking win. Damn, man. If
he wants to win and make a shit ton of money.
I want to go play for Japanese. I want to be where there's a bunch of Japanese. Okay, go play in Japan. How about you go to it? He wants to go to where he's going to win. It's just common sense, right? It's ridiculous. The Giants have nothing else. Hey, we got a great team put together. You're going to be the centerpiece that makes everything. No, they got nothing. He's had 5 years. Farhan's had 5 years. Tell me, where has he improved this roster?
Where has he improved the roster? I will say he's had one good position player he's grabbed that's still part of it, and that's Estrada.
5 years, you got Estrada.
And Estrada's not even an all-star. He's just a tier below. Estrada is their best everyday player, and he's not even an all-star. Think about that.
Yep, exactly. And he started, before he got hurt, he was starting to show fatigue because he wasn't swinging the bat like he was before he got hurt.
Right.
J.D. Davis was good for about half a year.
Exactly, because he's used to be playing part.
He's not an everyday player.
What did I say? What did I say last June about J.D. Davis?
He'll tail off.
He'll tail off.
Yep. Well, what did I say to do with him?
Trade him.
No, trade him. Before
I said trade him.
Exactly.
I said his value is as high as it's ever going to be. Trade him.
Yep.
And
and I keep bringing up: is he part of the future?
Is Cobb part of the future?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Let's see.
I know for sure Farhan is not in stocks, because if he's a stock trader, he would be horrible. He would not sell at its highest point. He would buy at its highest point.
They would have to cleaned them off the streets like they did for Biden over there.
Yeah. That's what I mean. For a guy so smart, he's not that smart.
It just reminds me of remember the discussion we had with Dieter Kurtenbach, and it just feels like the ownership, and to include Farhan, it just seems like it's more about just getting that 4% every year rather than putting together a good club.
You watch; they're going to sign Matt Chapman, and they're going to sell.
They're going to
everybody on the fact that he's a top third baseman in baseball defensively, and he's an everyday player. He's played in 145 or 150 games a year for so many years, and he's a guy that we can stick out there, day in and day out. He's a trooper, and he's played with Bob Melvin and Matt Williams is and that's going to be their big signing of the offseason.
What was the pitch that they said to Bob Melvin? Why would Bob Melvin take this job? Honestly,
that's what I want to know.
Like, why would you? Is it, man? It must have been bad in with that GM in San Diego, because I'm sorry, San Diego.
Maybe he just wants to be close to home.
San Diego's a beautiful area to live in, and you got a much more talented roster. I don't get it, but whatever.
I don't see. I'll make another evaluation of the Giants when spring training rolls around, but at this point, I'm going to peg them for fourth place in the National League again in the West, and I will have them and I broke it down into five tiers. One, tier 1 through 5, 3 teams in each tier. Okay, tier 1, I had the Dodgers and the Braves, and I think it was maybe the Phillies, and then, just going down the line. I got the Giants going to be around 12th to 13th next year.
Yep.
I'll see you and raise you on that. Right now, with the roster as is, I'm picking them for last. I think Colorado's going to be ahead of them.
Could be.
It's
possible.
I'm picking them for last. I said they were not make the playoffs last year. I'm picking them for last right now. They pick up
in the West, last in the West, not last in the whole league.
No, they'll be second to last in the whole league.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh could outdo them next year.
Pittsburgh. I'm trying to think of who.
I think
Washington. The three teams at the bottom are Washington, Pittsburgh, and Colorado.
Washington has more talent. I would love.
They do.
I would love CJ.
They had an issue with Pittsburgh. They had what is it that lanky guy that shortstop? He got hurt. Yeah,
Cruz.
Yeah, he's gonna. So he should be healed up. So that'll help. And then you got Paul Skeens, who's probably gonna come up. Who's probably gonna deal.
Yep.
I think Washington has more talent. I love
Washington. Definitely has more talent. They can hit. They can hit. They got a lot of guys that can hit. Washington, and there's a smart general manager, Mike Rizzo, traded Juan Soto and got C.J. Abrams, Robert Haskell, James Wood, who you're going to start hearing from probably next year. That guy can hit. They got Mackenzie Gore. They got like 4 or 5 players. I mean, and, what has Soto really done?
Yeah.
Nothing superstarish.
No.
Right.
I mean, that's,
good point.
They offered, see, this is how you do it. And this is what I said that I remember saying this to Larry, and he goes, why would they do that? And I go, so they know where he's thinking, what his thinking is. And I said, offer him some massive contract because he's going to be a free agent in a few years. Offer him like 10 years, 500 or whatever they were going to offer for, and they did. They offered that massive contract for him, which would have made him like the highest paid player. And then you kind of get an idea. Is he? Call his bluff. And they did, and Soto turned it down. Then you say, okay, he doesn't want to be here in Washington, so we're going to sell him. And they sold him at a time rather than wait till this year when he's going to be a free agent next year. They sold him when he had 2.5 years left, which gave him more of a return. See, return on investment. It's all about return on investment.
Yep.
And
who are you? Who are all of your top 3 not named Ohtani? You can have any 3 free agent players. Who are your 3?
This year's free agent class?
This year's free agent class?
Pick your top 3 not named Ohtani.
I got to look at – can we pull up the list, Eric? I don't even know who all the free agents are, the
in a
position
world,
players. Pull up 2013,
right? Free agents.
23 or 24 or whatever it is. Current MLB free agents, something.
Let's see what we got here.
Should pull up a list. And
here we go.
All right. Yes.
Yep. This is it. It's,
right.
it's a shit ton.
All right. Spread it out. So open it up so it gets bigger on the screen. I got to get close here. I cannot see. Dang.
Okay. Here's catchers. Harry Sanchez.
I don't want any catchers. Move
Mitch
on.
Move on.
I can only get 3.
First baseman. Reese Hoskins. Carlos Santana.
All right.
Brandon Belt.
Keep going down.
You want for first baseman or
no? Yeah, go to the next position because I'm
second baseman.
CJ Crone is 34. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
You
got Elvis Andrews. A bunch of old guys, but they're all 30 years old now.
All right, go down or scroll.
Shortstops.
Oh, Crawford. I want Crawford.
Tim Anderson.
And this has to be free agents, right?
Yeah, these are free agents.
Okay, keep going.
Third baseman. Future Giant Matt Chapman.
Yeah.
If they sign Matt Chapman, they're going to wind up trading Schmidt.
And that's going to tick me off.
Yep.
Because
not a whole lot there. Candelario.
You know what? Hold
it.
on. Keep it right there.
There we go. Oh, where at here?
No, third baseman. I know he's older, but like Justin Turner can still hit. I wouldn't mind him as my main DH. For a reasonable contract. I mean, not as a. I mean, I know he's up there, but he had a nice year for Boston.
Yeah, he did. He did have a nice year. He even got hit in the face too.
Oh, that was brutal. All right, go to the outfield.
Jock.
Hey, Jock, how you doing, buddy? All right, let's.
It's funny. Tommy Pham, who's 4 years older than him, played better than freaking Jock.
Okay, fly through this.
Center fielders: Cody, Kiermaier.
It's a bad year, I'm telling you.
Kiermaier is very interesting. He could really hit. I think he's been injured the last year or two.
He can't hit, but he can play center field.
It's a bad year. Keep going to right field.
Teoscar. There you go. Hunter Renfroe.
All right. So,
designated hitters.
JD Martinez was really cheap for the Dodgers. Nice pick.
Tommy LaStella's out there. Jeez, and Ruff. Darren Ruff. Okay. And then starting pitchers. Okay, I got my list.
All right.
I get 3 players.
Yep.
Give me. He's not on the. You consider Yamamoto a free agent?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll take Yamamoto, Blake Snell, and Jordan Montgomery. I'll just build around that. That's what I want. There's no position. There's no position players.
There's no position players. There really isn't. It's
and I'm not signing. Pitcher. I don't want Bellinger for 10 or 12 years.
You know who I didn't see in there? Hold on. Is it further down? I didn't see relievers.
Oh.
Go back to the starting pitching again real quick.
Oh, there's a shit ton of relievers. Holy shit. Yeah, relief. Hold on. Now go to starting pitchers right here.
Ooh, Marcus Stroman is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a good ground ball rate, yeah.
He's perfect for the ballpark.
Yep.
And
Julio Urias, I don't think he's going to be playing baseball anymore anytime soon.
Probably not.
You don't think so? You don't think he'll come back with a? Wait a minute, he's a free agent? Oh, shit.
Yeah, he is, but he's got domestic.
Would you guys sign Trevor Bauer? Now that the news is out that he really was trapped.
Oh,
I wouldn't.
he wouldn't fit in San Francisco, that's for sure.
No, he wouldn't.
And honestly, he only had a couple of good years. Other than that, he's just been kind of middle of the road.
They wouldn't if he moved to the East Bay. They'd probably block the Bay Area, the bridge.
Yeah, they would. Without a doubt.
It's all right. Clay, hop on Clay's boat. He'll take you.
Here's all the relievers. There's a shit ton of them.
Yeah, I'm sticking with my 3 pitchers: Yamamoto, Snell, and Montgomery, or Stroman. I'll interchange Montgomery or Stroman. I'll take one. I'm going to build pitching, and then from there, I'll make other moves and I'll start building assets. It's like I don't know. I think I know how. I enjoy trading because I like building something better and better and better. If you look at my draft from the fantasy, it wasn't a very good draft. I blew it on the draft. So
that was a pretty funny live stream too.
Yeah,
it was hilarious. You picked him.
Hey, I got a question.
Who I was gonna get?
I mean, Heroku had a pretty awesome team and still does. But
now here's a question: the Giants could trade for a significant, but who did the Giants have to trade?
I'm about to give you the Los plan that's going to bring the Giants back to contention. If anybody in the Giants organization is listening, follow this plan, and you will be fine. I'm writing it down right now as I speak. Okay.
I mean, wouldn't you be better off going and signing those like three great starting pitching instead of just getting, say, Ohtani?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
You know, I don't want Ohtani. You know, I'm consistent with that. I don't want to give him $50 million a year and have him be good for a year or two and be shitty for a year.
Senior is adamant in trading Doval. So, he could bring back something.
I mentioned that like 3 weeks ago, so that is in the plan. So here it is. I'm signing Yamamoto, my boy from Detroit, E. Rodriguez, and Stroman.
Okay,
that's right.
I like E. Rodriguez because he's not going to cost as much as Snell. I don't buy high; I buy medium. Snell had a great year. I'm not a big fan of somebody having a career year and they always have nowhere to go but down. So Rodriguez was perfect for the ballpark. Yamamoto is a stud. He is a number one ace starter. So Yamamoto, Rodriguez, Stroman.
I like that because they're good for the ballpark.
Perfect for the ballpark. Harrison, Wisenhut, or Black will round out my rotation. I am trading Doval for whoever will give me an everyday outfielder, whether it's Luis Robert or somebody else. I will trade Logan Webb for an everyday stud. So I'm going to have my rotation solid with those three guys we picked up, trust the young guys on the back end of the rotation, and trade the two pieces that would fetch me a damn everyday player. Doval, whoever wants to give me the best player for Doval that I can stick in the lineup every day, not platoon, and whoever wants to give me possibly two starting position players.
For Webb.
Would you want two starting position players that are already as established for Webb, or would you like what I talked about trading those guys last year? He finished
second place in Cy Young votes. Right. I would get as much.
Preferably, I would like a first baseman and two outfielders because I can roll with our I can roll with our young catcher. I can roll with Estrada at second. I can roll with Luciano at short and maybe Schmidt at third. If they don't work out, maybe pick up some mid guy, veteran. But I want for sure Doval, and I'm trading Webb. I'm getting two starting outfielders, and I'm getting a starting first baseman. I'm telling Slater and Yaz to hit the road, cut. I'm trading you for 5, brand new pitching machines. That's my plan. I don't want bums on this team. I will clean house. I will clean house of average players, and I will get some.
There you go, Los. I love it. I like the plan, and what I also
that's bold.
What I also like about it is
it's taking a risk.
Yeah,
please vote. It's election year next year. Please vote for me, Giants assistant manager. I look like Farhan when I take my hat off. I might as well replace.
Hey, I like the plan. I had Webb going last year too. My plan was trade Webb, Cobb, go get Evan Carter. I said from the Rangers before he was even up, and I said go get Wyatt. I think it's Wyatt Logan or something like that. Whatever he is, he was a third pick play out of college at Florida. The guy can hit like crazy. He gets drafted last year. Where does everybody stick their players? Even Will Clark, when they get drafted, they stick them in high A or double A, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This guy goes to triple A. His debut in triple A gets 4 hits. That guy can hit. All right. Get me hitters, and they're both 21 years old, Carter and it's Wyatt Langford or what? I can't remember his last name. His first name is Wyatt. But anyway, he's a stud of a hitter. He's the best hitter in college baseball last year. Give me guys like that and let me grow them. And because guys that can hit, they can hit it. They're going to be able to hit. And, they might go through some learning curves. I'm okay with that. I want to build a team that is like the Braves, the Astros, the Dodgers, the who else is there year in and year out? Even Tampa's winning with young talent. Build me talent that's young and that I can sign and keep, and then keep them through their age 31, 32, and then I'll move on and I'll start the process over again. I'll sell those guys when they're coming toward the end of their, just like the Braves let Freddie Freeman go. What did they do? They went out and got a younger version. They got Matt Olson.
Yep, exactly.
Because the way they have it now, they're right back to where they were last year, where they don't have power,
right,
and they don't have speed, and they have
bunch
one
of
guy in
platooners,
rotation, and they're just going to be a last place team or close to it. So is what I'm proposing. Yeah, risky. When you suck, you take chances and you take risks. So you sign, and I'm not even going after the best pitchers. I mean, Yamamoto is, but I'm not going after Snell. I'm going after Rodriguez. Rodriguez is not going to break the bank. Stroman's not going to break the bank, but they're perfect for the ballpark. And then if I get Harrison and Wisenhunt or Black on the back end, and one of them, preferably two of them, develop, I have a hell of a rotation.
Okay, you make up a good point here. One thing they haven't discussed in this offseason is the Giants player development still the same, or have they made changes there?
Oh, it's right.
It's still the same. Still the same.
So that doesn't bode well for our young guys because I don't think they did much.
Didn't Bob Seeger say that? Bob Seeger said that, didn't he? They're still the same. Yeah, that's right.
There you go. There you go.
I can't sing.
So you guys know I want Luis Robert from the White Sox.
Yeah.
Would they be willing to give him up more for Webb or for Duvall?
Webb. That would be a Webb.
But I think I think you could get
Webb is reasonable. He does not cost that much. His contract is very reasonable.
Yeah, and I just you got to give up something in a trade. When I was talking to Cam, he said, I appreciate your offers that you've given me for Jefferson. He says you'd be amazed at some of the deals I got offered for Jefferson in the league. It was like, a lot of guys when they're doing trades, first when you make a trade, I always appreciated. I enjoyed trading with Will B and Los too, because it was like sometimes you first might want to try and win the deal, but then you negotiate. But they're fair deals, they're fair deals. Trying to give up, two bench guys, for a top player that's in your lineup. It's like, it's just like, I don't know. I mean, it's DeSclafani and Wood or Gosman. Which one you want? Farhan took the DeSclafani and the Wood because he looked at the value and saw, I got two starters, and I don't want to pay 5 years at $22 million. I'd rather pay 2 years of a total of $22 million, and then I'll do it around. I turn it around, and now I've got Minaya and Stripling. And so he ends up getting those guys. So now we're going, if you think about it, we're going with DeSclafani and Stripling are left, but this will be the third year at $22 million, right? So he sacrificed, and then he's going to bring Cobb back. So what Farhan is doing is he's end up paying the same amount of money for crappier players. I mean, it's just, you can't win championships. Whoa. You can't win championships without having a couple of aces. We saw that even in the playoffs. Arizona, they couldn't get anywhere, but they got there. But they had two guys. They had Kelly, and they had what's his name with the G, Gallon. They had Gallon, and then
that
at the end,
Fott is going to be.
Yeah,
he's going to be good.
Fott came on, so they had the third guy. Who was in the World Series? It was Texas. They had Montgomery and Evaldi. And then they got there. They pieced it through. The Phillies had Nola and who was their second guy? They had two. Wheeler. Zach Wheeler. Yeah. Wheeler.
Oh, don't forget Ranger Suarez. That guy.
Yeah, Ranger
Even
Suarez.
though he didn't go that deep, but he was excellent.
Yeah. So they had, and you got to have two horses, man. Two, and preferably three. Preferably three is if you can get three guys that you would be fine throwing out there in Game 7 of the World Series. Then you're in good shape.
I have Yamamoto, Rodriguez, and you know what's beautiful about that rotation? You got Yamamoto as your ace. The guy throws 98, 99. It's just filthy. And then in a 3-game series, you come back the next day and you got a soft throwing junk ball, ground ball specialist on Rodriguez. Talk about throwing off your timing.
Right.
And then the next day you come back with another right-hander in Stroman, who's another ground ball, but he throws a little bit harder and he's coming at different angles. So you have three pitchers that are completely different. That in a 3-game series, like hitters are like all over the place. Let me ask you something. Do you think the Astros would give up Kyle Tucker for Webb?
Yeah.
I would. So who would you take, Luis Robert or Kyle Tucker?
In the ballpark? How old is Robert?
I want to say he's 28, 29.
I bet you Tucker's only about 25, isn't he? How old's Kyle Tucker? Another thing I would do with this ballpark, if I got some good, I'm shortening the field out there. I'm putting a different, smaller fence, and I'm from that archway, whatever archway it is, where jets way out into. I'm going to curve that in, and I'm going to make it a 385 foot.
26, Danny.
26. Okay, about the same age then, huh?
He hit 264 last year with 38 homers and 80 RBIs.
Plays
I'll take that.
Yeah. I think I would. I don't know if with Webb already signed pretty, reasonably for another 4 or 5 years. I think you could get more than just Robert. I think
Tucker and some relief pitcher, or Robert and some relief pitcher, because I can replace Doval. Like I know Doval's a stud, but
Doval's replaceable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doval.
I mean, Doval is a waste here because they're not going to have many leads and games to save to begin with. He's young. He's under control. He's a stud. So, like, oh my God, if I got Tucker and Robert, and I signed Rhys Hoskins as my first baseman at free agency, woo-hoo-hoo! Now we are excited about Giants baseball. Please. Hire me. Please, somebody hire me. I will make that move. And I speak good enough Spanish. I speak good enough Spanish to talk to the Spanish-speaking players.
There you go.
Por favor, ven amigo a San Francisco. Está un estéreo perfecto.
That sounded like a little Italian in there.
My Spanish is Italian the way.
I was just gonna say that's Italian Spanish.
It's very cochimil.
Yeah. Hey, they're saying Yamamoto is going to fetch over $200 million. Do you think even?
Okay, that's okay.
That's okay. I do.
Farhan doing it. I mean,
I am.
Probably not.
You are.
I am.
You know what I want to happen? This is what I want to happen. This would be so perfect. I hope it comes out that Giants offered freaking Shohei Ohtani like $550 million, and the guy goes and signs for $450 for the Arizona Diamondbacks. That's what I want to see. I hope that shit comes out. Because that would be so freaking awesome. Could you imagine that in the news? Oh, man.
I don't want to come to San Francisco. I like the
You are
city,
too.
but nobody protected me. Nobody in the lineup.
I swear that would be one of my first moves. It would be bringing Slater and Yaz into the office saying, you know what, guys, appreciate your efforts throughout the years for the Giants, but, you know, you're gone.
Well, you have to trade him because that's why. Hey, I said this the other day. They've got Conforto, Haniger, Yaz, and Slater. 4 guys that make up the most expensive.
Don't forget,
outfield.
Yaz is, according to some Giants fans, Yaz is the best San Francisco outfielder right now.
Oh,
Well, he is, but he wouldn't start for the Dodgers or
right.
the Diamondbacks.
He wouldn't start for the Diamondbacks.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
He wouldn't start for the Dodgers or the Diamondbacks.
He's a 5th outfielder, man.
And I don't even know if he'd start for the Padres. You know, they got Soto and Tatis and whoever they go with, Grisham or whatever. But so you signed those guys to arbitration. They were eligible. You either had to offer them a deal or non-tender them.
Correct.
And they become free agents. So because they're relatively cheap, even though Yaz is now up to like $8 million, I said that 2 of those 4 minimum, I would trade all 4 of them if I could. But you got to get 2 of those 4 gone because you have no room for your outfield. You can't. What are you going to go do? Keep all 4 of those guys and sign Bellinger? Now what are you going to do with Matos? What are you going to do with Ramos? What are you going to do with Meckler? You're just going to get rid of you're going to go with all older guys? And that's what I say. You're not going to get Bellinger.
Nope.
So you're going to be stuck with these guys unless you use them to trade. And I don't know. You're not going to get anybody better for them. You might get somebody younger that is maybe potentially better, but you're not going to get a proven major leaguer that's better than those guys. So they needed to package those guys last year.
Yep.
But so I don't have any hope for it. I don't know what they're going to do. My guess is they're going to go sign Matt Chapman, and they're going to try and trade Casey Schmidt or Luciano, and they're going to try and they're going to trade one of their pitchers, whether it be Harrison or Wisenhunt or Reggie Crawford. Somebody like that's going to get dealt. And it better bring back, a Luis Robert, a Kyle Tucker, it better bring back somebody of value, because you're not going to get Ohtani. I don't think you're getting Bellinger.
You're not getting Yamamoto.
I don't think they're getting Yamamoto. I don't think Farhan can compete sales-wise when you're dealing with those crafty guys like Atlanta and Dombrowski in Philadelphia and the Dodgers, whole entourage. I don't think you can. I mean, what are the Giants selling?
Exactly.
What do you have to sell?
Those other GMs don't even have to get crafty because they put together a winning team. Just look at our record. That's all they got to say. Look at our record. You want to come and win?
Which lineup would you got? I guarantee you, if you're one of those other teams, if I'm one of those other teams, and I know Ohtani's looking at the Giants, I'm going to put my lineup up.
Yeah.
Serious. I'm going to have a big board, and I'm going to have these guys hitting, and I'm going to show Betts flying around the bases and Freeman and the crowd. And I'm going to say, or do you want to go to this place and look at this lineup? And this lineup changes not only every game, but within every game. And you don't know who's going to be behind you. Your career, you go to the Giants, yeah, you might be the guy, but you may never get a chance to swing because they're going to walk you.
Yep.
And
not in my lineup that I propose. But I could post that on social media tomorrow.
Yeah, but you're not hired. They're going to be dealing with Farhan, so they're going to sell that program.
Yeah.
But if they were dealing with me, I could post this on social media tomorrow. Half the people would respond and say, "No, we can't trade Logan Webb. We can't trade."
Oh yeah.
Oh, delusional fans.
Oh,
Yeah, they're just addicted, or they're attached to their and I love Webb and I love Doval, but I'm trying to make the team better. So that would my lineup would be solid and my rotation would be solid.
Yeah. Here's a question: Do you think Farhan? Even though they signed Farhan to a 3 or a 2-year extension, do you think there's a chance he could get the axe? And if it does, what would it take for him to get the axe?
Bless your boy.
Last place.
Yeah, that's
probably what's
nope. I don't think he gets the axe with last place. He's already laid the groundwork in the dugout when they had the press conference and they said, expect another year like we just had probably for another year or so, because it's going to be tough to turn things around. He's already put that out there. See, I listen. I hear what he says because he changes.
Yeah,
he says things based on what gets him by in the moment. When they asked him the question, well, is it going to be hard to get somebody here, to get players here with you on a 1-year deal? Oh, so many people love to put this uniform on, and this is a tradition. I'm not worried one bit about getting players to come to San Francisco. And then it's like, well, you had a rough year. How come you didn't be able to, last year's off? Well, to tell you the truth, a lot of the things that prevent people that want to come here for the city and what's going on, and he uses that. He plays both sides. This is why I'm on you, Farhan. I'm on you because nobody else in the media will hold your feet to the fire.
True.
And call you out on what you say.
True.
NorCal Sports Network, we'll give you all the props and kudos if you are successful in your moves, but we're going to hold you accountable for the moves that are not successful, because you just got a 3-year extension and you could have had Kevin Gosman and you let him go, and you signed DeScofani and Wood. It was a big flop. You signed Tommy LaStella. That was a flop. You signed Conforto and Mania and Stripling, and that's been a flop. And you have had all kinds of flops. You've had some success in Estrada. Your trade with J.D. Davis was a great move. It wasn't a major move, but it was a good move. Your move to get Darren Ruff when you got him was a good move. But you haven't done anything big. And where's your minor leaguers? Your first minor leaguer that you drafted to make the major league roster was in 2022 last year when you brought up Cole Waits. While the rest of baseball was from that same draft, had almost every team had a player make it to the major leagues, and you had nobody above high A. And then you brought up Cole Waits. You jumped him from Double-A. You brought him up last year, and now you cut him. Yep. You just recently cut him. What does that say? What have you done for the minor leagues? You drafted Patrick Bailey. He's a great defensive catcher, and he's going to be a serviceable catcher for the next 10 years. I give you props, kudos. Bailey's a good pick. You pick Casey Schmidt. I think Casey Schmidt's going to be a player. What other players have you drafted that show real promise? Meckler might be a good hitter. He looked pretty good. I like Meckler too. I think he's a year or two away. He looked a little overmatched last year.
I hope he's getting the weights this offseason because he looked pretty frail.
I think Meckler could be a good player. I think Von Brown could be a good player, but where is he? You're holding him back. Matos and Ramos, you didn't draft, but you're not playing them.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing in your system? Your draft this year looked really good, from Bryce Eldridge to the kid from Colorado, the shortstop, I think is Martin or whatever his name is. Had one of the better drafts according to some of the experts. Give you props. It looks like that's a good class. This 23 class may be, things on the rise. But prior to that, you haven't really produced anything.
True.
And, I like Casey Schmidt. I think Casey Schmidt's a ball player. He needs to play to show that he's a ball player, and you need to let him go through the rough spots. If, the last game of the season, didn't he hit 2 home runs? Casey Schmidt? I think he did.
Yes.
I don't know if it was 2 home runs, was it?
I think it was.
I thought Fitzgerald did well right at the end, too.
Fitzgerald did okay. But again, a lot of guys do well when pitchers haven't seen them, and then they figure out their holes. So I don't buy. That's why I wanted guys to play. I wanted guys to play last year, all of the second half. I wanted to see Matos. I wanted to see Ramos. I wanted to see Schmidt. I wanted to see what they could do every day against right-handed, left-handed, whatever. Just play them. But you went for a playoff position, and we knew you didn't have it. We told you right here on this network that you're not going to make it, and everybody else said we were nuts and that we were negative, we were downers, we weren't real fans. Hey, look, we were just I told you that San Diego was going to catch the Giants.
Yep.
And that looked pretty laughable for a long time.
It did, but they did it.
Yeah. Okay. You did the right thing in firing Farhan, but you did it for the wrong reason. You did it to save your butt. And looks like it worked because you got a boss that doesn't really care about baseball. Seems like he cares more about the bottom line.
And I think that's why Farhan's safe then. Because
that's why Farhan is safe because, sadly, the owner for the Padres just passed away a week or two ago. He was only 63, but he was a huge baseball fan.
Mm-hmm.
Loved baseball. And so, he lived his life. He lived his dream. He knew he was dying. What did he do? He went and spent a ton of his own money, losing money, had to take a loan out to pay the players because he wanted to win a championship. And doggone it, they didn't make it. It would have been great for him if they would have. I'd rather see a guy like that win a championship than a guy like the Johnsons who say, well, we want to break even.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. And
what's so sad, Dan, is as much as I dislike Kapler, now that I've had a few months to think about it, if I had, and I think we brought this up towards the end of the show, or at the end of the year, if you had to get rid of one, I think the consensus was Kapler. And the more I think about it, I think that was wrong. I think if you got rid of Farhan and you actually brought in a GM to bring in talent, like how bad could Kapler screw that up if you have talent? So now you've brought in Melvin and he's supposed to be a miracle worker with this roster. You know what I mean? Like at least the GM.
Right. Oh yeah. The
GM has control of the roster, of the talent that's on the roster. So how bad can a major league manager screw it up if you're penciling in Tucker in right field, of Robert in center field,
right?
Yamamoto as your starting pitcher.
Well, check this out, Los. You're exactly right. We said it was Farhan. In fact, Eric coined the phrase that Gabe is the symptom. Farhan is the disease.
Yes.
You're trying to take the symptom out. It's like a wart. You're just trying to touch it. The wart's not going away until you get the root, right?
Yeah.
You got to kill the root. And Farhan is the root. Well, the real root is the Giants' ownership. Let's just call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
It's really the Giants' ownership.
Good point.
And then it's Farhan, and then falls down to the manager. But let's look at a study in contrast. Look at Kyle and John Lynch. John Lynch was is in the Hall of Fame, was a unbelievable safety, played the game with passion and desire, killer instinct, was a headhunt. I mean, when I use the term headhunter, he wasn't going hitting head, but you know what I'm trying to say. He was a guy that hit hard. He was like, he was, okay, that guy wants to win, right? He knows what it takes to win because he has one. He has a Super Bowl ring with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And didn't he play with the Broncos too? Did he get a ring with the Broncos?
Yeah.
I think he did, yeah.
With Elway?
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Not sure. But anyway, if he did or didn't, he got one with Tampa, didn't he? Wasn't he in the Tampa Bay defense that won it all?
Absolutely. That smoked the Raiders. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So John Lynch is a guy that knows how to play. Kyle comes from a tree. He was there with his dad, saw the Broncos win 2 world titles, and he was with the Niners when Mike Shanahan was the offensive coordinator. Kyle was growing up. Kyle's a competitor. They work hand in hand together, and they want to win. And you look what they took over in 2017. It was the worst roster in the NFL.
Yep.
They got to the Super Bowl in year 3.
Yep.
And they've been to 2 NFC championships consecutive. After that, they went in 21 and 22. So this is a team, and it's all based on the leadership.
Right.
It's all leadership. Because you're not going to get all those great players without leadership because they don't know what they're doing. You look what the Niners did. They needed they realized we need to make a deal, and they went out and got Chase Young, arguably one of the top, what would you put him, top 5, 7 defensive ends in the NFL right now?
Yep.
And Bosa's 1.
Yep.
So you went out and got that, which now notice the secondary hasn't looked so bad the last 2 weeks. I mean, the one-on-one coverage on the corners has been better. Because why? Because the quarterback's having to get rid of the ball a little quicker.
Yeah. Right. They work hand in hand with each other.
So it's all about the right leadership. And the Giant, I mean, look at Farhan. I'll even take the Warriors, Bob Myers and now Mike Dunleavy. They're guys that play the game and they understand the game. Farhan looks to me like if I went into Chase Bank tomorrow and I said, "Can I speak to the president of the bank?" that he might walk out. Yeah, hi. How are you? You got a problem with your checking account? Okay. Yeah. Well, we'll get that fixed for you. Jeez. He doesn't seem like a baseball guy to me. He seems like just so much into the analytics and what happened to the eye test? Everything's now about war. And, they signed Yaz because of his war. He gets 7.9, everything's about this and this and this. And when we just watch him play and we go, yeah, I like Yaz in the outfield. He's a good right fielder. He's got a good arm. He's accurate.
Defensive replacement at best.
He hustles, hits an occasional big home run for you, but he's not a guy that's going to hit you better than 225.
Loved his grandfather.
What did Yaz end up hitting last year?
240 something. Here, I'll find it.
Did he get that high?
Maybe
off the top of my head,
I'll find out.
I would say 228.
233.
Okay, 233. I didn't think it was that 240. So he hit 233. What did he hit the year before? 207?
That was pretty. I think it was like 214. Hold on one sec. 2022. 214. Yep.
So what are we doing here? 214 and
He's a career 241 hitter.
33.
And you know, like I got on Wade. I like Wade more than any of those guys as a utility guy, backup. You know, I'd rather see them get rid of Yaz and you know, if you're going to keep Yaz, just keep him as your fourth or fifth outfielder as a defensive replacement and pinch hitter and occasional starting when your starters need a rest. But get me 3 everyday outfielders, okay? Get me a total of 6 minimum, preferably 7 that play every day. I'll say 7. Give me 7 guys that are in the lineup day after day after day, except when they need a break. And I play my Patrick Bailey 2 out of every 3 games. He gets a third of the season off. He plays in 120 games. My backup catcher catches 40. Okay? That's what I want. And then give me 7 regular players. And then there's a guy or 2 that can rotate here and there. And if you want to platoon your pinch hitter, your designated hitter, whether it be I'd rather have just get me JD Martinez and make him your DH, you know. Or I'm even okay with letting a guy like Blake Sable be my DH, and I think the guy can hit, and he'll get better if he gets more at bats just facing guys, and you know. But anyway, I think you got the right answer.
Let's say we get to spring training, and Meckler's put on 15 pounds of muscle. Let's say Ramos, Matos, Fitzgerald. Let's say these 4 young guys get to spring training and they are all significantly better. They are playing well. Melvin sees it. Is Melvin the type of manager? Is he the type of personality to go to Farhan behind closed doors and say, they have passed Yaz and Slater. They are better players than them. I'm not going to start Yaz and Slater when these kids are just outplaying them. I'm sorry. Does he have enough pull with Farhan to be able to tell him that? And would Farhan then say, okay, I got to somehow trade these guys that I just signed to extension? Or
I would think he would.
Be the same
I would think he would in the
way?
first year. I would think he has his most leverage right now because it's pretty tough to fire a guy with a couple years left on his contract. But I'll tell you what, if that's the case and they go to spring training with those other guys, I don't see Farhan. I see those young guys getting blocked again. I see Farhan trading 1, maybe 2, if he can pull it up. But I don't. I don't
think he could get away with just trading 1 to get anything. It's going to have to be a combination.
And they're going to have to trade some of their pitching, their minor league pitching, which, you know, I still think the right way to do it is, you know, go get 1 or 2 free agents and play all your young guys and let your young guys develop. And I wouldn't trade a bunch of my future pitching if I can build my pitching, and if I imagine if the Giants had traded Lincecum, Mad Bum, or Kane. Do you think? Let's say they traded 2 of 3 of those, 2 of 3, and got back some decent everyday players. Do you think they would have won? I don't think so.
Nope,
no, not at all.
You got build with your pitching. You play 81 games in a pitcher-friendly park. If you're not going to change anything with the dimensions, have the best pitching staff in baseball as the Giants did for those 3 World Series, and start developing your players like you did. You developed Buster. You developed Panda. You developed Crawford. You developed Belt. You developed Panic. You had guys that came in, and then you filled in the holes with guys like Cody Ross and Renteria.
Aubrey Huff.
You but that's how you build a team.
Angel Bacon.
So they didn't have super duper stars, but they had superstar pitching.
Yes, they did.
Lincecum was Cy Young 2 years. Mad Bum was tough. Kane was tough. You had
and where do they all come from?
The farm.
Giants farm.
Yep.
Right.
So that's how they need to redo it. That's why I wouldn't chase. I don't think if you go trade a bunch of your young pitching, you're going to get, unless you go out and sign, like Lowe said, if you can't go out and sign 2 or 3 the pitchers that Lowe's mentioned, Yamamoto, Stroman, and Rodriguez, if you can't get those guys, and if you come up empty, you're foolish if you trade your strength, because you are not going to get the type of players that will get you good right away. I think the way to do it is and I'm fine with it. If I knew that they were going to do it this way, I would just play all these young guys and build it up. And then as these guys are coming up that you're drafting, the Astros had some rough years, really rough years, but Giants don't seem to be willing to want to do that. And
it might be a good idea, Dan. Maybe contact Ned, get him on before the winter meetings. That's going to be in 2 weeks. Start talking maybe what would his ideas of fixing this, or he may not even get into that. I don't know. I just think that's just the way I think they should have done it. I think they could have started it last year. They could have sold all those guys at the break. I know it happened in 2022. Same thing with Jock and
they could have been
Rodon.
selling guys, and they could have been getting younger guys. Man,
hey guys, go check out Farhanian Baseball. It's a great little freaking video I put together.
Yeah, there we go. Farhanian Baseball. Hey, we're going to end it right here. It's 12:30 here in Arizona, 11:30 California time. We'll be back. Let's see. I don't know when we'll be back because we got Thanksgiving coming up, and
so yeah,
I'm going to be gone for Thanksgiving. I'm going to go up to Page, Arizona. Spend a few nights up there in Airbnb, and I don't know. Maybe we'll do our Saturday night. Maybe we'll pop in somewhere during the week or something. We'll find out. But
go check out my YouTube page. I got a poll up there, and I think Los is gonna like this. I got a poll of what my next topic's gonna be for Military History Chronicles. So go take a look at the community page. It's the if you go to the YouTube page and hit the community tab, there's a poll of what I want to. And your topic is leading right now. It's not very many votes, but it's leading.
Oh well, let me get in there and vote.
Yeah, get in there and vote.
Hey, if we don't,
I love conspiracies, man. So you guys talk conspiracies.
I'm all about it, man. I'm all about it.
I love to hear conspiracies on Marilyn Monroe, JFK.
Hey, we're up to 948. 948 subscribers. We need 52 more.
There we go. 52 more. Yeah, there's a community page. You just go to the YouTube page, and then you'll see little tabs up top. It says videos, lives, community page, about it, whatever it is. So yeah, just hit the community page, and you'll see a bunch. I got a bunch of different polls up there and stuff.
All right, everybody. Will, thanks for joining us. Los, Eric,
you bet.
We'll be back sometime before next Sunday with a live stream. We may put out a video during the week. If the Giants do anything this week, we'll come on. We'll do something. If they sign anybody of significance, if they sign Charlie Brown, I'm not doing a show.
Oh man.
So, but everybody have a happy Thanksgiving.
If I am made the assistant.
If you're made the assistant,
if I'm made the assistant general manager of the Giants, if I am made the general manager of the Giants, I will make NorCal Sports Network the official San Francisco Giants YouTube page.
All right, there we go.
What we're talking about.
Hey man, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight if this is going to happen or not. You think?
Hey, we'll have a lot more than 1,000 subscribers. Trust me.
Have a good one.
That's for darn sure.
Thanks, Riddy.
Sure. Hey, everybody, have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. I hope you
absolutely
spend it with family, friends, and get a lot to be thankful for.
Absolutely,
a lot to be thankful for.
Maybe I'll do a Black Friday show on my channel.
Yeah, maybe. I might even have to do a show what I'm thankful for. I thought about this. Hey, let me finish this.
Go for it.
Talking to my brother, we were talking about the talking about fantasy football, and I was talking about the Lions, and I'm on St. Brown and Goff, and I said I was hoping the Lions would lose, but I wanted Ramon to score and Goff to, and I was like, and my brother said, yeah, you gotta go for the money, go for
there you go.
Don't worry. And I thought to myself, I said, there was a time in my life where I would have wanted my team to win so much worse than me winning. And I'm at the stage of life, I thought, got a lot to be thankful for as a Bay Area sports fan. We have the 49ers with 5 rings, the Giants with 3 rings. If you were an A's fan, you've got 4, and the Warriors have picked up 4 in the last decade or so, and they had a 5th one back in '75. Imagine living in Cleveland, right? I mean, all you have is the Cavs, 1 NBA title, nothing for the Browns, nothing for the Indians. Bay Area's pretty darn good.
Spoiled
with sports. So I'm kind of like, even if
imagine being in San Diego.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm at the stage of life now. I mean, I want the Giants, Warriors, and Niners to win. I think the one championship, if you asked me, and I'll get a real quick from you guys, if there's one championship of the 3 teams, Niners, Giants, Warriors, that you want to win next, who is it? I say the Niners for me. Who do you got, Los?
Who's going to win the next championship?
No, who do you
want?
Who do you want the most to win the next championship? I want the Niners before the Warriors or the Giants.
Yeah, they're long due for sure.
Who do you got, Eric?
Giants, baby.
I figured. What do you got, Will? Kings.
Tough one for me.
It's the Kings.
Hey, I wish it could happen.
There you go.
It could happen. But no, I have to go Niners. We're overdue.
Yeah. I think that's where I'm at. And if we never get another one, I still got a lot to be thankful for. I got, not just sports, but I'm most thing I got to thankful for is, your health is good. You got good health, and your family, man. Family's way more important than these anything with sports. But anyway, we've talked enough. You guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and maybe we'll come back sooner if the Giants do something. Until then, have a great week, everybody.